Yo, day.
Yo,
What it
yo,
do?
yo.
Yo, Wagwan blood.
Hmm. This guy, like, yeah.
Making
Yeah,
blood
I'm
gangster.
still, I'm still surprised that people still come up to Jew in public and be like, "What it do? What it do?" Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's mad funny to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You know what I'm saying? Keeping it real. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I respect it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least you got a slogan. Like, you know what I mean? Yo,
Well,
H-
people walk up to you and say, "Why Eli?" Even though you ain't asked them nothing.
I just don't like when people ask me if I'm the why Eli guy. Like my name is Eli. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like literally in the
But
fucking.
But
that,
They be like, "Are you why Eli?" Like, I'm like,
more,
"Yeah, I'm
more
Eli."
famously, your name is Eli, but more famously known as Why Eli. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. Like, I mean, I'm gonna have to start putting that shit on reservations. Like, you know what I mean? So they know who I am.
Because if you go in and be like, "Yo, I'm Eli," they ain't gonna know who you
even
are.
if you,
Why
even
Eli?
if you crazy, dude. Won't your mama tell you like, "Why Eli?" If you
Yeah, my
told me
mama
crazy.
be saying that shit to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? She just be dying laughing. Just, why Eli? Like, laughing. Like, damn, mama. Like, you know what I mean?
Shout
I
out to
sent
Mama
to
Eli.
I sent to the song that the Why Eli song, and she was
Mhm.
dying. Like, you know
I
what I
know
mean?
she cried, bro. That shit too funny.
That shit.
You about to y'all about to play it at the cookouts?
We might have to. Yeah, that might be a cookout theme song right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta come out with the dance first. Like, who the most dancing nigga out of the group? I think Ace probably is. Like,
What?
Ace, you just look like some dancing. I don't know. You just look like some smiling dancing ass nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, I ain't no dancer, bro. I two step. That's it.
You two step. That's it.
That's it.
Now, Jew do be trying to dance though, true. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Why y'all lying,
You and
bro?
Weasel used to be back in Harlem.
Yo, shout out to
Everybody know Jamaica's the dancing island. Like them niggas wake up out of bed.
I got some cousins. Yo, bro. Yo, shout out to my cousin Nick. That nigga think he the dancehall king. I ain't gonna hold you, man. That nigga.
We had to
that
bring
nigga,
him in.
shit he do, I will not. I mean, I'm not gonna go. The dances be crazy. I don't know. Them dances.
When you say he the dance hall king, like you mean like that? What's that one Jamaican dude that be doing like wrestling moves, basically? Like he be jumping all.
Yo, he be doing like crazy shit, bro. Stuff that I wouldn't even think is a dance. Like I ain't gonna hold you. Yo, shout out to King Confidence, man. What's good, man? With that green, Merciful in the building. What's up, everybody else? Avoc was good.
What up? Michael in the building.
What up, Michael McChoke? Yo, but Ace, how was your day, man? How did it start for you?
My day was cool, and I mean, same old work and shit. But I mean, it's ended off right for the week. We ain't got no show tomorrow, so it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Got the little setup coming Saturday, so it's gonna be a nice little weekend.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how you day went?
I just got home from work, and
oh yeah,
I really ain't even get nothing to eat. You know what I'm saying? Came to my peoples because I knew the live stream was about to start. You know what I'm saying? I can't let y'all get all the shine. You know what I'm saying? I had to pull up for my peoples though.
Yeah. So how did it go though? It's something that you want to fuck
with. We'll talk about it afterwards, but it was a long, eventful day. Just know.
Okay.
A very long, eventful day.
Okay, you got the emphasis on eventful, like you know what I mean.
I gotta get the details, man. What about you, Eli?
Y'all know I ain't do shit. I've been resting. I'm in the fucking cast all fucking my life, basically. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I literally, I like my sleep pattern has been horrible. Like I'll be up all night. I'll be going to bed at like 7, 8 in the morning. So I literally slept. I slept until like 9. One of my homeboys came and checked me. Shout out to Weasel, man. He came through. Make sure everything was, copacetic. And then I literally went to sleep from like 10 to like not. That's why my eyes probably look a little fucking puffy, bro. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I've been asleep like all day, and now that's why I'm going to probably be up all night until fucking 7 in the morning again. Like fucking sleep pattern is hard.
Well, remember live stream is at the episode drops at 11. Make sure you're there for the people that you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do my best. I ain't gonna make no promises, but I'll definitely do my best to make sure I'm in the building.
When I was off, nigga, I ain't make it to none of them live.
I used to call Ace at like 3 in the afternoon. the nigga be sleeping. I'm like, huh, nigga, what the fuck? Are you still sleeping?
Yo,
Like,
I don't know if it's everybody, but yo, you think if everybody was home for work that their sleep pattern would be like that, or is it just like if you a night owl or something, whatever? Cause I know they got like morning people, you know what I mean? Like,
yo, King Confidence, yo, you ain't gonna do the come on, bro. Like, nigga don't gotta
Exactly.
yo, stop talk, man. Like, damn, nigga came out.
Yo, after going through this, would you recommend it?
Huh?
You gotta rest up, right?
Would you recommend it, though?
Bro, I don't have a BB. I tore my Achilles, bro. Like, that's not a BBL, bro.
Like, still the story, bro.
Did you transfer one part to another part? That's what we gotta ask.
I transferred.
Are you now resting up after the transfer?
I just want to know, would you recommend the surgery to someone else if they want to?
If you tore your Achilles because you was on your Kobe shit, like I was on my Kobe shit playing basketball.
First of all, I was
serving niggas like 5, 6 in a row.
If y'all see Eli look like a different person 6 months from now on the episode, just know the transformation happened.
Yeah. First of all,
if he start posting pics of him at the gym, it's a lie.
That's what I was gonna do too. Yo, you gonna give away the secret, boy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I already got the gym pics.
I keep it real out here, man.
You gotta have the gym pics in the
start posting protein drinks in the stories. Yeah, we know what that means. What that mean?
They can become an influencer and shit.
Yo, the hate is real, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, we just gotta keep it real with the people. I mean, King Confidence, no.
Yo, anybody that tore their ACL, you know what I mean, make sure you get it.
So you recommend surgery, is what you're saying?
If you tore your I said ACL, your Achilles, I'm sorry. If you tore your Achilles, then go get it surgically repaired. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what did you tear? Your ACL or your Achilles? You can't
my Achilles, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right, that's cool.
Yo, listen, man. Anyway, man, we got a live stream tonight. We got a phenomenal guest that's gonna be on the panel. We got some great topics. Obviously, we're gonna touch on this just pearly things. I do want to talk about, you know, the whole controlling black spaces from non-black people. We're gonna get into that. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce the guests one by one. Let me see. It's all boys start crying. Yo, come on, man. Like, I know it's all love, man. Like, I mean,
I just get lists every day, B.
They be hating, man. It's all good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he said I tore my ACL twice. Like, god damn, he sound like Derrick Rose out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
nigga in crutches permanently.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So, like I said, I'm gonna introduce the guests one by one. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and all that good stuff, and then we're gonna get straight into the topics. Like, so, let me see who we got.
Hello.
Yo.
What's up? How's everything?
What's up? Everything is good. How are y'all?
We pretty good. Yeah.
Doing good. How are you?
Good. So you could call me Lady Di. That's what I go by. You can follow me at Lady Di DTM. DTM stands for Dating to Marriage because I help support people in the dating to marriage process. Mm-hmm. I am married. I have kids and all of that. So I help people understand through my experience, my failures and everything. I also do this with my husband too. Sometimes he is on there with me when I go live. We go live on Saturdays. I do post a lot on Instagram and on TikTok, so you can find me there. And sometimes they call me the male whisperer because I'm able to understand men and help women understand, men, because I think that's a big, break in the relationship. A lot of times I feel like women just don't understand the other gender. So I help them understand that by what I understand from you guys.
Mm-hmm. I know they must call you a pick me in the comments.
Oh yeah, I get all types of names.
Yeah, I already know.
Me, so that's
once
fine.
you said that, I say yeah. I know they're gonna be killing her in the comments, man. But I do appreciate the work that you and your husband do, and obviously it's much needed, especially in our community. So I appreciate you, man. Make sure I go support her.
And we definitely probably gonna need you and your husband to pull up when we do a married panel. So both of y'all to hear from both perspectives.
Yo, the crazy part is we got a lot of people, a lot of married couples, black married couples reaching out to us, and I appreciate them for doing that because again, now a lot of times when people are so basking in a successful marriage, they don't really feel the need to come out and go on these platforms to talk about their marriage and stuff like that. But we got a lot of people, emailing us to come on the panel. So we working on a couple of episodes, just like that, just so we can have more balance. Trinity, what's good?
Hey, you can hear me right?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Trinity. I go by the Real Setter on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, on all that. I started about a month ago, and only like a couple experience happened in my life, and I'm someone that's like, I learned once, and it's like, okay, I learned my lesson. You know, I don't really like to get burned multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Goal is to just on when I go on social media, basically just to show that each who are capable of being wives still, you know, not all of us have completely lost our minds. So that's just that's the goal. Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey.
What's up, Sheena?
Hey. So yeah, my name is Shayna, even though it's spelled Sheena. My Instagram handle is Sheena X Laura X, and my IG is pretty much just making light of this season of singleness that I've been in for the past 6 years. Just being funny about it. That's it.
The seasonal singleness for 6
Season of singleness. Yes.
Okay, all right. Shout to you.
Hey everybody, I am Samantha Thomas, and on social media, all platforms, I am Talk to Samantha. That's Talk to Samantha. Journalist, like a professional journalist for like 18 years. TV, radio, had a radio show recently. So now I'm doing entrepreneurial things, but I'm what I consider myself reformed modern woman. And I am in a relationship, intentional relationship, been in one for the past year. And what I do now is just come with a keep it real approach. I talk to women who consider themselves high achieving and all that, and we are, but we just need a dose of reality every now and again. So I speak a lot from personal experience, from what I've experienced to where I'm at right now. And hopefully a lot of my single high achieving friends are listening to me, because most of them single. So I'm trying to get them out of the rut and and help myself along the way. So I'm just excited to be here again. Thank y'all for reaching out. So excited to share my perspective on. I'm from Chicago. So
All right.
Time.
All right. Shout to
We
you.
appreciate you.
Ooh, that's the last one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Y'all can hear me good?
Definitely.
Yeah, no, my name's Lamont, but I go by Honto or Honto Lamont, whichever, you know. I'm mostly on TikTok. I try to make digestible content for, you know, my community and people in the dating scene and stuff like that, to try to just, I kind of play the middleman or devil's advocate with a lot of things, just to show everybody that there's a different perspective to what we're seeing, so we're not all each other. You know, my goal on here is really just to better my community by showing my people that there's a better way to go about things than just the toxic things that were pushed out in our media and things of the such. But you know, real life, I'm from Pittsburgh. I stay out here in the Vegas area now. I'm a mechanic. I fix cars. But I mean, yeah, that's me. I really just wanna break all these generational curses and cycles that we got going on right now and kind of fix what we got, you know. But yeah, that's me.
Yo, appreciate y'all for joining the panel again. If y'all on your way in, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if y'all not already subscribed. Share this out on social media to a friend, family, somebody that you think might enjoy this conversation. Join the YouTube membership as well, man. If y'all not a member, man, make sure y'all join the membership. So get into this first topic. Do you think social media tries to tell people how relationships should work? Like, what are your thoughts about these social media gurus that's, you know, talk about relationships? Do you think they're telling people the right way of how relationships work? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they're telling people the right way. I think every relationship is its own individual thing. So there's no one right way or wrong way to be in a relationship. So to take advice, I mean, you can take it with a grain of salt, but you know, it's not the end all be all of being in a relationship.
I think there is a right way to be in a relationship, because I understand that people are doing it the wrong way. That's why the relationships are failing. So there is a way to go about it. It don't have to be like perfect. I think that's probably what you probably want to say. Like, it's like a perfect situation. Yeah. No, I don't believe any relationship is perfect. Even the ones that are successful and been married or whatever for a long time. But to answer the question, I think that if someone has experience in being in a relationship, you know, I think that it's okay for them to be out here speaking about it, as long as they're coming with good intentions. I do believe the listeners are just listening to everybody and they don't know which way to go. So it becomes confusing. But I do understand, if you know what your goals are, then you should be listening to someone who is gonna put you in that right direction. Don't listen to somebody that's talking about eggs, but you want bacon. Like, you got to talk to someone that has what you need, and I think it will be okay.
I think with certain conversations, as we're listening to people, if it don't apply, let it fly. If it does not apply to you, let it fly. And if it does apply to you, make it work for you so you can soar whichever way you're supposed to go and see a relationship. Because majority of us want to be in one, but we deny it. So, you know, if the advice, if it works for you, let it work for you. But like my lady said up there, if you want eggs, you know, don't listen to somebody that's trying to fry up some bacon. There you go.
I personally, I think that it all like lady said, I think that it all depends on who you are. It all depends on your style or what you want in your relationship, and everybody's standards are different. Like everybody's standards are different. Like love is different for everybody because we all were raised differently on what love is and what is not. And I think a lot of people on social media try to paint this picture that this is love and this ain't love and that is love. Well, love is really what it means to you. What does love mean to you in that sense? And I think that when it comes to social media and things, we can be, as people, especially in the Black community, way too clingy on the words of somebody like a Kevin Samuels or even people that oppose him. I feel like these people on social media kind of want to express, well, this is what I think and this is how I feel. And a lot of times we can take that as a fact in some way and overly establish ourselves with our partners based on what somebody else got to say.
Mm-hmm. Trinity, what's your thoughts?
I think, for me personally, I think that social media is a big facade with anything, but especially with relationships. We tend to, I think a lot of, you know, those relationships that look so awesome, they don't show the ugliness of the relationship. Social media never shows the downfalls and the arguing and the times where they hate each other. Like, they only show that the glamour part of it. So then when people actually go into a relationship, they're like, this is how it's supposed to be. Why isn't it like this? You know, so they ruin relationships thinking it's supposed to be the way the so-and-so on social media posted it, you know, traveling and going out on dates. You know, they hurry up and pull out a phone when they go out to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it definitely influenced in a way that's like, it's destroying a lot of relationships. I know, you know, you have like the gurus and stuff who give advice, but have the ones, like I said, who put on this facade, like, oh my gosh, my relationship's perfect. And then after they tell all the BS that's going on.
I see, like, sometimes I'll see, like, people, these social media influencers have consultations, right? You know what I mean, in their bios, and they try to help people, but a lot of them be single, right? So do you think a single person can give consultations on dating and relationships?
Do I think consultations?
Maybe.
Yeah, they try and get their bag. They want their bag.
Don't they be saying the Cupid matchmaker is usually always single? Like the people that hook people up on dates.
The professional matchmakers. Yeah,
they're always single. They always can tell you how, you know, who's the best person for you or how to do this, how to do that. But they usually always.
If it's someone, you know, who they've been through everything, you know, like they've been through a lot of hardships, but they want to help people not go through that more so, then yeah. But it's like you've never actually been in a successful relationship. I don't know. I think that's kind of hard. I don't know.
Well, I think a successful relationship are the ones who are still with that person. Ain't nothing successful if it ended. But I do agree with what you said, Trinity. Like, you definitely have to have some level of experience, and you better be telling them what you did wrong. Don't come on here saying everything right and you ain't do that. So as long as you saying what you ain't do and you know this works, then I don't see nothing wrong with it, honestly. You just have to be real transparent. And I think, like someone was saying, a facade, like you coming on here acting like everything is cool, but it's not. Hence, that's why you're single. And I'm not saying that it's in a bad way. Some people are single for other reasons, but as long as you're being genuine, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's I think that was some of the critiques some women had towards Kevin Samuels, for example, is because, you know, when they get into it, then the question is, well, didn't you get divorced twice? So how you telling me like what is healthy or successful in a relationship. So, you know, even something like that, you know, where Kevin Samuels, you know, had certain advice towards women or even men, you know, people would hit him back or push back with, well, you're not married. How can you tell me what to do? Like, you get what I'm saying? So that's why I asked that question, because, you know, is there more validity to somebody who is in a successful marriage compared to somebody who, you know, maybe has, you know, went through those experiences and now can learn from them or teach people what they did wrong, like Lady said and stuff like that.
People
Well,
got to
Eli,
understand
go ahead.
that I'm sorry. People have to understand ultimately that you make that decision. So whatever you're listening to, you know what I'm saying? It could be some good, it could be some positive shit. It might even be some good shit that works for somebody else in their relationship, but it just may not work for yours. So you got to understand what works for your relationship, what to take from what somebody advice is, and use it. Ultimately, no matter what you hear, you make the decision to follow or not follow what you heard.
Right.
I feel that same way. And he mentioned Kevin Samuels, which one I'm an advocate. I love Kevin. I did. I took that advice, and like I said, again, if it does not apply, let it fly. But those people who are single, you got to check the fruit. What their fruit look like? What the fruit from this person look like? How? Where they at? You know, what have they come to? And that's even when I talk. No, I'm not married in an intentional relationship for a year. However, I talk about myself, you know, and keeping it real. And that's the best way, I think, for you to do it. Again, no facades, be real, keep it real, be transparent.
I agree. I think I saw Kevin Samuels more so as an advocate for the average man. You see, I'm putting quotes, but I think I saw him as an advocate. I know people, you know, hey, his delivery was harsh, but his intent was genuine. You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, he's describing, you know, a high value man, but I think the women were the ones who were defining a high value man, and he was saying like, this is what you said a high value man is, but you're not matching him. And I saw him as an advocate for the average, you know, the average.
And he kept men with he held men accountable and had made sure they had realistic expectations.
Yeah.
You can't be asking for a woman to be doing all this, that, and another, and you ain't that guy either. You get what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people just, you know, look at him and see how, you know, his conversations went with women, but he had that same energy for men as well when they came.
But they didn't show that. They made sure to only show the women that he was going after. They didn't show the men that he was talking about.
Yeah, they showed it in the beginning. Yes, they did.
No, I mean, like, you know, he on my timeline, I only see the women that he's talking to. I didn't even know he was talking to men either. Right. I feel like sometimes it's selective on what they want to show.
Yeah,
like saying that, I think that happens because, and I think it goes back to like what we were talking about when it comes to like, you know, non-people of color being in our spaces, if that makes sense. Like, for example, like Black people are entertainment. We are what makes money. We are the numbers. If there were no Black people here, like it wouldn't go. You feel me? It wouldn't work. So I think, just in my opinion, people like push these things and they push, oh, well, Black women are this, oh, well, Black men are that. And I think it's easy to do those for clicks. It's easy to do those for the clout. It's easy to do that to make money. But nobody wants to talk about the things Black women go through, that maybe how they got like that, or the things Black men go through to how they got like that, if that makes sense. So like, I think it's easy to, you know, say, well, like, and especially just like she said, like on her For You page or on her, like what's shown to her, like I personally believe that these things are being pushed on purpose as a way to keep us from seeing like, oh, they don't want us to be on the same page, if that makes sense.
Right.
I do.
And that's definitely, I think the algorithms are definitely biased towards, you know, our community. They push out certain negative content, or just the content that you just know that's going to get you riled up and triggered, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, I think it's intentional. I can't prove it, obviously, but you know, there are a lot of married podcasts, you know, relationship successful podcasts out there, but they don't get pushed out in an algorithm like that. You know what I mean? There's a couple that I know that I watch personally, but they don't get the same exposure as somebody talking about why they can't date a 9-to-5 man, or you know what I mean? Like, they don't get that same level of exposure, and the algorithms is not pushing. I go to my For You page, and all I see is divestment women, black women saying how, like, you know what I mean? And that my algorithms know that I'm going to get triggered by certain responses. Like that's why they keep pushing it. Like you get the engagement level. So again, I can't just blame everything on algorithms and stuff like that. But I do agree with Hunter that certain narratives are pushed into our community to make it seem like, well, black men ain't shit, or black women are just gold diggers, or they don't love you. Like, you know what I mean? There is certain narratives that are pushed out there. So
I think it's because it's what people want to see. Like they want marriage, but to look at it, they're like, nah, that's boring. And they want to see people just talking a whole bunch of mess, doing a whole bunch of mess. Because I think that's just what they want to be. They like, I like the idea of marriage, but I don't want to be in it, but I do want to be in it. It's like they confused. So if they just start looking at more of like a family videos, then maybe it would push more of the marriage content, I believe.
Okay.
That's true.
Makes sense.
All right, because the two biggest things on both sides that you see a lot are, like you said, the women that want to divest and like the passport bros. And I think like those are those are the two biggest on both sides.
The most extremes, yeah.
Yeah, like you see that a lot.
It's never a middle. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So speaking of marriage, I do want to get to this next topic about marriage. Obviously, I know we got some married people on the panel, which is beautiful. Is there a proper age to get married? Is there an ideal age that people should look to get married to? Like, what are y'all thoughts on that? Lady, what's your thoughts on that?
I want to first.
You said you want to go first?
I want to hear that. I want to hear the married first and the ones in the
yeah.
Question real quick before we hop in. I had a question. I didn't want to disrespect nobody. I didn't know like how the rules and regulations to certain things was up here. Do y'all care if I roll up?
Nah, you good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Boy, you
you know what I'm saying? And you good. Like, like, yo. Yo.
Appreciate
Lady Di. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So that's not like a straight answer. Like, cause we gotta be real here. If you know, let's say for the man, let's talk about the husband, because he's the one that's gonna ask hand in marriage, right? If you don't have your finances in order, then ain't no way you about to think you about to take someone under your roof, because you ain't got one. Sorry, you have one, but you don't have the proper setup. Okay. So I think once you are in a space where you're comfortable to take care of somebody, because that's what's going to happen, even though she may work or not, it depends on what you want. So if you want that dynamic where you paying all the bills, then you need to make sure that when she's up under you able to do that. Because if she was to get pregnant and have a child, right, she has to stay home. She is not going to be working. So bills still have to be paid. So as long as you're able to take care of that situation, then I don't see nothing wrong with marriage. I don't think there's a level of like a age. I'm sorry. I don't think it's an age where this age is perfect. No, because every man is different. There's like the men on this panel. You could say, hey, I got my life together at 30, right? And if someone else could say, I got my life together at 25. So it just depends on what the man is set up. But if you have like you want a 50-50 relationship where you want your lady to work, then I mean, it don't even matter. As long as y'all both have a job that works out. Now, I am talking about money. You see me saying marriage, money, but without the money, to me, there's no marriage. And I'm not talking about you gotta be wealthy. I'm just saying you have to be responsible. So if you're not a responsible adult, then you shouldn't be getting married. Because once you're responsible, you should be able to be mature to handle your marriage. So I don't think there's an age. It's just going to depend on the man.
I think she made a really good point too when she was talking about the difference, because there is a difference between, oh, I want you for your money and I want you to know what to do with your money, if that makes sense. Like there's a difference. A woman that wants you because you're financially stable and a woman that wants you to be financially stable because she wants the best for you and y'all, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's
I think we gotta differentiate that. I'm sorry, Samantha. I think we do need to differentiate that, because some women might look at financially stable as, you could support a certain lifestyle for me, as far as I go on shopping sprees, I could go on these luxurious vacations. They just said in New York City, making $100K is equivalent to making like $36,000 a year. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So again, even you making $100K, which in most cities is, you know, is doing well off. Like, you know what I mean? If you live in New York, you know, that's 36K. That could barely support you depending on your lifestyle and how you live. You know what I mean? So now if you talk about a family, obviously now you might need to make 200K. Like, how many jobs is really out here offering 200K? You know what I mean? And how, if you're not going to be necessarily in your 20s making that type of money, usually you might get a little later on in life as a man before you start to make that kind of money. So I totally agree with you, Hancho, when you said that. What was you going to say, Samantha?
I think that if we look at, and shout out to everybody that made a comment, I went to an HBCU. So we in college, which right there, that separates, and no matter where you went, but college-wise, that separates the people that, you know, want to do a certain thing in life versus, you know, many that just may want to go to school or trade school or just work right out of high school. However, what I think, and I'm gonna speak for Black folks, what I see us do majority of the time, we want to get somewhere first before we get somebody. And what happens is, what about growing with somebody? Versus, okay, let me wait until you make this cap of money, and then I'm gonna see if you this. And then what happens is, ladies, we blink, we 40, then we blink again, we 50, and then we blink again. It's like, I can't have no kids, you know, because I'm waiting for him to get to this point. Most men do not reach their financial cap until their 40s anyway. So what they gonna do is go back and grab somebody else versus us sitting up here trying to keep waiting. Versus, again, why can't we grow with one another? That is something I see our counterparts do. They grow with each other. We always waiting for what somebody making. Is he stable enough, or is he financial enough to do this for us? Versus, let me build with you. So by the time y'all look up, y'all got 2-3 kids, y'all doing these great videos with each other. Y'all the people that we saw grow together. Versus, let's wait until you make this certain cap of money. Because most of the time, like you just said, 100K, 200K, what is that for real versus the love? Love is more of an investment to me than waiting on somebody to make some bags.
Yeah.
You said a word that triggers a lot of women, especially when we have this podcast, and that is, I am not building with no man. Like, they built, usually they have did that in the past, they got burnt or whatever the case is. Now you have to come at a certain level. So I think, you know, there is that, you know, I've done that in the past before. I'm not doing it again. So you need to come already established. And the guys that's already established have the pick of the litter. So now they can pick and choose who they want to mate with. And you know what I mean? So, you know, it is, I get what you're saying.
Some of them haven't had that experience. They're basing that off someone else's experience or what they heard. A lot of it is that. You get what I'm saying? You've been through situations when you're 16 and we both broke and I got a sandwich from you. Like, no, you did not provide anything. We both was broke. You get what I'm saying? You can't tell me once you're 21, you've been through men using you and this, that, and other for your money. No, we both was broke, man. We both.
Not to mention that a lot of divorces these days is because of financial reasons. So seeing that as a man is going to make you not want to get married before you financially stable, because you want to give your marriage the best chance to succeed. So if you see the numbers, you're going to look at that like, I got to get my shit together before I make that step.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm speaking for myself, but that whole, I don't want to build with a man, I feel like, for me at least, is more so his mentality. Have you dealt with your childhood traumas? Have you gone to therapy? I'm not trying to be with somebody or build with somebody who's still trying to figure out if he wants to be in a relationship. He's still out here in these streets. He hasn't been to therapy. He's has all these issues. That I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to, you know, deal with all that stress and those issues, as opposed to somebody who's still trying to figure out their self financially.
And a lot of women equate that to like building together as struggle love. You know, we hear that term a lot, the struggle love. I'm not doing struggle love. My grandmother, my great grandmother, you know, obviously all these, you know, extreme examples, and the women are saying, well, I don't want that anymore. You get what I'm saying? So,
well, Eli, when we gonna get off that trauma train? That's the thing. A lot of us, we stuck on the trauma train. We got an express ticket. We got to get off the trauma train, turn in that ticket, because a lot of us, you know, you get stuck on that. Just the trauma, the repeat cycle. I don't want this, so I'm not gonna do this. Versus just, I don't know, give it a shot, you know. And we don't.
I mean, my thing is. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, was going first. You got it. You got it. I promise.
My thing is, I think all of us have trauma. We can't sit up on here, not y'all, but people in general. We can't sit up here and say we ain't got no trauma. Ain't nobody had no perfect life. Even the person with the silver spoon has trauma. Trauma is your ass spoiled to death and you don't know nothing about life. That's trauma. So I'm saying, like, my thing is, since we're in this world where it's not a perfect one, we should be able to come together and still be able to make it happen. And I'm speaking this one from experience. I had trauma growing up. My husband had trauma growing up. We came together not perfect. We're still not perfect now, but we came together not perfect. And what we did was we were each other's therapy, right? I've been to therapy one time. So she helped me put things into perspective. But at the same time, the only therapy I had was with my husband. What that did was it helped us communicate better. Now we have an excellent communication because we was able to go through problems together. The areas he was weak in, because it's all about balance. The areas he was weak in, I was able to help him with that. The areas I was weak in, he was able to help me with that. And collectively, I think that that's beautiful. I think growing with someone is better because now you've seen each other's best, each other's worst. Like, it's so much sweat, tears, all that. And that is love, because now you know how to conduct yourself through life with somebody when anything happens. So I think people need to stop shying away from it and being maybe afraid. I think it's like a defense mechanism. Like, we can't go through failure because you're going to leave me. Most men don't leave their relationship unless some crazy stuff happening, like Maury, right? But on the other side, men are not leaving. So, you know, you have to just stick it out and make sure that you're able to be mature. That's why I was saying earlier, it's all about maturity. I think a lot of the stuff where these relationships are not working, I'm not saying every relationship, but most relationships are not working because people are not mature enough to handle the tough side, but they able to handle stuff at work. Ain't shit easy over there, but you're able to handle that. You don't quit that job, but you're going to quit what's best for you, which is when you come home. So that's how I look at that.
I think
point.
For me, well, my parents are married. My parents got married young because they had me young. But one thing that they taught me was they didn't say, you know, there's a specific age that I need to get married, but they definitely told me you're not ready for marriage until you're willing to mess with that person. Am I allowed to curse? Like, you're not ready until, because we all messed up one way somehow. Like Miss Lady said, like, we're all messed up somehow, but you're not ready till marriage till you can say, even through all your messed up, I still want to be with you for the rest of my life. That's something that my mom taught me. Like, even through the ugly, even through the stank feet, even through the stank butt, you're musty. You feel what I'm saying? You got the trauma. You've been through the past, but out of everyone's trauma, out of everyone's past, I want to stick with you. That's something that I was told. That's when you're ready for marriage. There's no specific age, but when you are in a mental, spiritual, emotional state to say, hey, out of all the trauma, we gonna fight this out together. That's something I was taught.
Yeah.
I think my generation has messed up kind of the idea of building with people, because in my experience, especially, you know, with my girl now, the right woman can turn a bum into a billionaire. And what I mean when I say that is, like, I don't know how to, and when I explain it to people, it usually comes off as saying like a woman is like, I want a woman to take care of me. But I feel like, I don't know, like it's just like when I met my girl, I had anger issues, I had trauma I hadn't dealt with, I was still dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. Now I'm at peace. I don't stress about nothing. I don't, like, it's just, I don't know what it is, but her presence alone, the way she motivates me, the way to make sure I'm on my grind and I'm on my hustle as a man has 180'd my whole life. Now I got a good job, I got good benefits, I'm about to have me a cool whip, I'm straight. But I didn't have that before, any of that before I met her. You feel me? Like, I think that's what I mean when I say building with somebody. I don't want somebody to solve my trauma for me, but the power of a woman, of the right woman, is something we, especially, I'm 21, my age group, that's something we highly underestimate in my.
Yeah,
I think we'd be out here too long. I do.
What you mean? What you mean? Like,
we just be out here too long. some of us just be out here too long. We single, we experience so much that by the time, if you do meet, like my brother just said, that right person, you let them fly by because you just been out here too long and you just let a lot of stuff build up in you that by the time somebody comes to you, who are you? You got a whole bunch of spirits. We just be out here too long. I'm trying not to say what I want to say, stuff up in you, but you know.
But I think that's where it comes in when it like wait until you are healed to date. Wait until you are, because if we keep trying to date when we're already, you know, messed up from the last relationship, it just builds. So then when we do meet that person we're supposed to be with, we can't trust them. It's harder to you know, want to be there for them because it's like I done been through 10 people. I done created 10 soul ties. I done created all these trauma bonds that I can't trust you now. So I think people have a hard time just learning from their first mistake. You made one mistake, learn from that. That was a sign. Get your stuff together. That was your sign. Love yourself. That was your sign. Understand who you are so that you know you're able to be okay with being single. You know, like I forgot your name. You say you for 6 years. I love that. Like, people can't do that. People hate being by themselves. So they constantly rush and force and jump into everything. Even, like I said, like, even with sex, they have to have sex. So they're corrupted with all of this trauma so that when, like I said, when the person that they're supposed to be with comes in, then it's like, it makes it 10 times harder as opposed to if you just waited. You just took the time out to know who you were, like, then it can
How long?
Huh?
How long is
waiting? On the person. It depends on the person. Like, you hear some people, they get married after they break up and they find themselves a year. Some people, let's say 6 years. Something like, I think it just depends on the person.
So what's the goal? Okay, let's say you did the healing, right? You dealt with your traumas, but now you're still single for like whatever X amount of years. What is the goal? Like, are you just waiting? Are you going out actively pursuing? And I'm not trying to pin this point on anybody. I'm just saying, are you actively pursuing relationships, or are you just expecting God to just drop the man in front of your doorstep? Because
yes.
Like,
a lot of us women are
saying like then when you're actually ready for marriage, then date for marriage. Like, have that intention. Okay, now I'm ready to date, and this is my intention for marriage.
But like Samantha said, you blink, next thing you 35, next thing you 40, next thing you 50. Like, you know what I mean? So them years go by quick, like without you realizing it. You get what I'm saying? So
and Eli, what a lot of us women, we got a clock. Y'all don't. We got a clock, and most of us want kids.
Yeah, I had a friend who's going through experience something similar to that, right? So now, like, she enjoyed her single life, but now she wants to get married. So, but now she's approaching every man with a rush. She doesn't even acknowledge that she's doing it. You know, of course you're dating with a purpose, and we respect, you know, for you for having a purpose. But then you're like, well, you know, I'm not dating for this, and I want kids, and I want this, and you're not even understanding how much pressure you're putting on this man. And I just met you. So I'm glad you're dating with a purpose, but now you're scaring me because you
just timeless stuff. Yeah, it's like 2 years I gotta have one kid, and another 2 years I gotta have another kid. Like, if you can't do that, then I ain't dealing with, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
for me, like I said, I've been single. That means not in a committed, serious relationship for 6 years. Have I dated people in these 6 years? Of course. Have I found anybody that's like I want to be in a relationship with? Maybe one or two, but most of them is just like, all right, you're not looking for anything, I'm gonna keep it moving. So as of right now, I low-key want to wait until God drops him at my door, because I'm gonna be outside like that. But because dating for me, I do not like the trial and error. It's a waste of time for me right now, especially in Atlanta. It's just like,
you in Atlanta?
You know what's crazy? I spoke about this on another episode where I said, you know, we take each other for granted so much that nobody really want to put their best foot forward. So I don't want to show you how good of a man I am because I don't want to be taken advantage of. And women don't want to put their best foot forward because they don't want a man to take advantage of them. So we're all scared to show how great of a person we are to each other because we don't want to get taken advantage of. So,
Right.
I mean, we're going to have to, take a leap of faith one day, say kumbaya, go to therapy together on the first date or something. We're going to have to do something because,
That's a nice date.
this dating each other to show our great qualities is stopping us from having successful relationships.
And
you gotta look at find out what I'm sorry, no lady.
My fault.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you just gotta really look at too what you keep attracting. And if you keep attracting that same person, what's up with you? And that's what I had to do. I'm telling y'all, I blinked and I was 40.
And
a lot of but I was 40.
A lot of people don't understand what you just said. When you say to a person, like, you keep messing with the same types of people, it's not about like what you attract and what are you allowing in your life.
That's it.
And nobody wants to understand that. And I think on top of that, a lot of the reasons why the stubbornness builds to take that step forward is because of, or at least me, it's my parents for me, but people in our past just, you trying to be the bigger person and they mistreat you anyway. And that builds up that resentment and stubbornness for people that are trying to actually do right by you, and it messes up what you got going. But like she said a word just now, like, it's about what you allow, your boundaries. Do you respect yourself? That's what it was for me. But that's all.
And that's my thing. Like, I understand what you're saying, Sheena, right? I understand what you're saying. But the thing is, like I said, nothing's going to be perfect. So if you could look at it as practice. You don't have to, I'm going to use this out there. I'm not saying you're doing that, but you don't have to sleep with every man that you're dating. What you want to do is understand these men that you're dating, because it could be you probably missed out on the guys that you did date it. They could have been the right one for you. But the thing is, you probably have a certain way that this guy's supposed to be, when it's not about what he's supposed to be like, what you believe. It's how it's supposed to be like biblically, at least in my eyes. I don't know if you're into the Bible, but biblically it's supposed to be a certain way, and you want to look for that. And that is not going to be perfect. And perfect just mean like the most important things that he's supposed to have for you, the family, is providing, being caring, being respectful, and he has sacrifice, right? These men are sacrificing. So if they have these set qualities, most likely it's going to be a long-term situation. But what we look at is all the material outside stuff that's not going to say you need a divorce because you're not clean enough. I'm just using the simple stuff that we complain about. There's ladies literally divorcing guys because they're not clean enough. I leave my side of the bed clean and his side is junky. That's pissed me off every day. He not listening to something so simple. We talking about cleaning. Is that something that is detrimental? No, but that's what we're looking at. Oh, he got to wear this type of outfit. I want him to look this way. I want him to speak this way. It's not about that. If he has respect for you and he's treating you with how he treats himself, that's how it says in the Bible. They're supposed to love you like they love Christ, right? If they're doing that type of work for you, that's the type of guy you want. Everything else you could fix. So let's say he's not clean. Help him be clean. Don't look at it as, oh, I'm not his mother, because that's what we're looking at. Don't look at it like that. Remember, everybody's background is different, right? Everybody on here, some of us wasn't even taught how to clean. Some guys on here probably had their mothers cleaning for them, right? If we just look at culture. So at the same time, it's like we can't look at that. We got to look at, can he do this? This is what's going to be a lifetime, and then kind of roll with that. And make sure that you're still trusting. Like, I understand we go through trauma from other relationships, but I think we put the trauma that we went through on the next person, and then we're like, nah, I've seen that before. You're going to do this. That's not fair, because he could do that to you, and then both of y'all going to be out here looking single and not having somebody. So I think that we're like, learn from the mistake. Like, I think that's what Trinity was saying, learn from it. But then at the same time, you still got to make sure that you give someone the same respect that they're giving you, like a fair shot. What I mean, right?
Yeah.
So what do we? Real quick, just to go back to the topic, because you guys made some excellent points. So as far as the age, because from what I'm hearing is that men usually are more financially stable and capable of sustaining a healthy family, usually when they get older in life, and then women again very much use their youth, femininity, and things of that nature to obtain those type of men. So do you really think that women should be waiting later in life to try to look for marriage, or should they use their youth, femininity, their lack of trauma to vet certain quality men to get marriage? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like,
I don't think really. I don't think so. I mean, in a sense of like, if you want to, and even going back to the whole topic of like struggle love, like I think the term struggle love is a very subjective experience, because a lot of people want to look back and say, well, struggle love this, struggle love that. Well, a lot of the reasons why struggle love existed was because back, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way up until now, we've literally had a whole form and system of government rooting against us and our families. So that's where a lot of that struggle love came from, if that makes sense. Now, dealing with people you shouldn't be dealing with again, that's a subjective experience. But I don't think that like women should have to like wait. Like even now with me, and this is just me personally, like I plan on marrying my girl. I plan on putting my girl in a house. I plan on giving my girl kids. What you want, 3? I'm giving my girl kids. I plan on like all of those things, and I'm 21. I think that it's about, again, letting who you allow in your space. And a lot of the reasons why I'm caught up in the idea of a man is because men are really good at putting up the front of, oh, I like you in the beginning, and then it turns out to be something else. Women do this too, but I've been in a lot of guy friend groups, and I know it happens. But I don't necessarily think that there's a age range or like my soulmate popped up on me. I was 21. That's just what it was. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's gonna be at until death do us part. At that point, that's just
I only say that because I think when we look as far as worldwide, right, the people usually marry at a younger age. Is only really in America where we marry at 30 and above. Like, you get what I'm saying? So that's the only reason I asked that question. But I totally understand what you're saying.
Do you think more Black people do it, marry later?
I'm not completely. I don't know. I really don't. It seems that way only because I surround myself with the community. Right. I really don't know what's going on in these other communities, like, so.
For me,
but why can't we go back to the traditional times where, damn near your high school sweetheart was the person you stayed with?
I agree.
Life.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
For me, he wasn't my high school sweetheart, but I wasn't allowed to date in middle school, but he was my little sneak thing, but we broke up, and then we got back together after I graduated from high school. And then we kind of, for me, it was more so I was trying to force him to be someone he was not ready to be just yet. And neither was I ready. Like, we were two kids trying to adult. We were two kids trying to be grown, trying to adult. And as we got older, for me, like, getting my apartment at a certain age and everything, I had life hitting me like real hard. Like, I moved out of my parents' house when I was 18, got my apartment, and everything. So like, life was hitting me real hard, and I'm sitting here, I'm trying to be a grown woman, trying to keep this guy happy, but I want him to be a man, but he's not ready. So for the high school sweetheart, I think it depends on the person, but for me, it didn't.
I also think that changed with people having so many more options.
I agree. Yeah.
So the fact that you have so much options, you can switch up. I could be with this person. I could be with this person. Not saying that it wasn't happening back then, but it was very little of that, not compared to what we got today. You could change up and be somebody I could date somebody in Africa right now if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never have to see each other.
Yeah.
The most we had back in the day was pen pals. That was it. Pen pals. You had to send them a letter. Like,
being 21 right now is I think when you have, for me, having the intention, I just want to get to know you makes things so much easier. Like, having the intention, I want to know you as a person instead of I want you naked. I want, instead of that, having the intention, I want to get to know you makes dating 10 times easier, because if that person doesn't want to talk to you, if that person, doesn't like me or something, then it's like, that's okay. Because it's like, I just wanted to get to know you. Your feelings don't get it.
So you think people should say that? Because men have a history of saying not those words. We say something different, like, yo, I'm just trying to feel the vibes. You know what I mean? Something like that. We don't necessarily say, but,
you ain't, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that maybe men should word it differently and say, you know what?
Women ain't trying to hear that, man.
Going with the flow, they ain't trying to hear it.
That vibe. a red flag.
I will say this to go back to what you said when you were 18, trying to do this and trying to be grown and this and that. My generation, we were raised to be independent. And a lot of us are raised so much to be independent that relationship probably, you'd say you back with him now? Trinity, are y'all back together now? You no?
Oh no,
Okay.
yeah, got back together when I graduated, and we dated for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, but okay. So to that end, a lot of us are raised to be independently by ourselves. A lot of us women are. So again, we do this whole thing. I got to get this for me. I got to do this for me. You ain't thinking about no partner. And then I'm gonna circle back when I'm ready. It don't work like that because men control access, and we think we do. We think we do the choosing when we don't. We could choose career and all that kind of stuff and succeed. But then they don't care about that.
Sex with like that. That's
right.
Like, I mean, so.
But when it comes to relationship, it's the men make the choice, and I always say that.
What you say, Hancho?
I think social media has honestly tricked, like, and I don't mean to take this with a grain of salt when I say this. I think social media has tricked women, and especially women in my age range, into believing that they have options that they don't. Because having options and having people that want to like smash you are not the same thing.
Come
like,
on. Yeah.
Like, okay, so having a bunch of people that want to take your hand in marriage and do right by you and treat you good and this, that, if you have options like that, you wouldn't be single. In my experience, like, just because, like, even like on the guy side, if I have a bunch of girls that want to smash me or whatever, that don't mean I'm gonna take you serious. That don't mean I'm gonna buy you nothing. That don't mean I'm gonna put you in a house. That don't mean I'm gonna rape. No, that just means that, like, that, and that's why, like, sex for me, bro, it's so much more than a transaction. That's why I became very bougie about how I handle my business with people. Like, that's why I was so cool about now that I'm cool with the person I'm with. So I'm straight on that. But like, as people, I think we have to learn and understand, especially the younger generation of people, just because somebody want to talk their way, talk you out your drawers, I don't feel like that equates to, oh, I can replace you, if that makes sense. And I think that creates this false idea to certain women that men are, oh, I can just throw you out and get you a new one. You know, to the left, everything you own in the box to the left type. You know what I'm saying? And that,
you feel I think I like go ahead. Go.
Now you go, lady, you go.
Okay. I like exactly what you said, Hancho, because I think that we're dating, but we're dating the wrong people. There are going to be guys that just want to smash, and there's going to be ladies that want to smash too. But you got to find the ones that are dating with intention, kind of like what Samantha is saying, because everybody is not out here for the good. And I think that we kind of like think that, okay, because he messaged me or he asked me out on a date, that means that he is looking for a future with you. Some of these guys are going to do that just to get in your pants. And that's just the reality of it. We can't even sit here and try to change that, because some people don't want marriage. And of course, I think that the world would be a little bit better if people wanted to have more of a family dynamic. But at the same time, everybody's not on here to do that. Everybody's not supposed to be the same. It's supposed to be people that don't want that and that are, have, jacked up way of thinking and messing up stuff in the world. It's supposed to be like that so we can stay on our game. But we just have to understand, like, just make, you got to know what to look for. Now, if you need help, ask, like, if you're a lady, you need help, ask a guy that's successful in some type of relationship. Like Hancho, he seemed, you young as hell to be talking like that. That's what's up. But you can even talk to him. I'm just saying.
I'm taking it back. I'm like, goddamn, like,
right?
I wasn't thinking about stuff like this until I at least was later in my 20s. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yesterday,
the wisdom.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Don't get it twisted, though. The wisdom doesn't come with like necessary like positive experience. I know the things I know because I've been mistreated the way that I have, and that's pretty much it. That's why I hold on to minds the way that I do, and I take care of my way that I do, because I know ain't nobody out here like her. I know ain't no.
I commend you, especially in Vegas. I used to live out there because.
Waiting till marriage actually like has saved me personally. Waiting till marriage, because when for me it's like I told God, like, okay, God, I do want to do all this with my husband. So when it comes to dating, then it's red flags. Some people call it discernment, some people call it intuition, some people call all those things. But when you're waiting till marriage, then your radar of like the BS is constantly, it's constantly there. So when it comes to talking to people and they say certain words, or you say, oh, I'm waiting till marriage, and they say, oh, we'll see how long that lasts, that's an instant red flag.
Well, Trinity, I would caution you on always having that red flag alert, like that monitor on, because what can happen is you can honestly shut the door on somebody else. So even with you say you're waiting to marriage, I commend you, more power to you. I think that's great. But I probably even would lead with that too, because a lot of us do lead with that, like, oh, I'm waiting to marriage. And then it could be like, okay, but I would just caution you on your journey to not be so, what's wrong? Let me see. Okay, what you gonna say if I say this?
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Can I ask the ladies a question real quick? Because y'all brought up a point about not doing it with the wrong guys, right? And however, I know some dudes are some smooth talking dudes to make you want to, do it. But do you sometimes know it's the wrong man and y'all give him that chance?
We know.
Yeah, we know.
You always know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know.
I want to hear it.
Finding out for themselves. I promise you that. It's the rush and adrenaline of finding out for themselves. Like it's
and wanting to change him, or he gonna change for me. I'm special. He gonna change for me type of situation. Like
ain't nothing special about this down here that ain't and we think it is. Like I'm call a spade a spade. Ain't nothing special about it. We know who he is, what he is the first time we talk to him.
Yep.
But it's like, okay, well, a man can tell you. I always say this: we hear men, but we don't listen to him. He'll tell you when I don't want a relationship right now. We heard, well, he don't want one right now. He told you he don't want no relationship, but we like, well, not right now. Come on, we know. Yeah, we know.
Okay.
Listen, I want to get into video because we talking about marriage, and the word, when we talk about marriage, the word submission always tends to come up, and obviously we understand how much of a trigger word that can be for some women. So I got this video from Samantha on her TikTok. Yo, make sure I go support her on TikTok. She got a lot of great content over there. But I want to play this clip, and then I know Samantha, you already reacted to this, but I'm gonna play the clip, and then we're gonna get back to it. So
you should not want to be a doormat. I get so triggered off of submissive. Why does it have to be like a hierarchy? Why do they feel like in marriage men is superior over women? They're trying to promote to women like, be cooperative, be soft. It's getting you walked over. It's getting you played.
Yeah. So again, that's what we always hear, from women in our community, or just women in general, is that submissive is key word for being a slave, being his slave. And I can only be submissive if he meet the right qualities and X, Y, and Z. So what's your thoughts on this whole, why women find the word submissive to be such a trigger word?
I'll wait.
I'm sorry. I think people are using submission and control interchangeably. And it's not to control you. It's to allow a man to lead. So I don't have an issue submitting to anyone. I'm just not going to submit to someone I'm dating I'm not in a committed relationship or married to. So yeah, nothing wrong with submission. It's just not control, what some people think it is, allowing them to control you.
What she said, like, I think it comes from, like, it literally contradicts the whole independent Black woman trope of I can do bad all by myself, if that makes sense. And it's like, and it goes down into my age group too, because it's like now, my folks, we deal with a lot of women where it's like, if it's like, oh, you not my dad, or you not telling me what to do, and it's not that, but it's like, if I say duck and you ask me why, you already got shot. So it's like, in that sense, if I duck and you ask me why, you already got shot, and I'm looking at the ground.
Yo, that was I like how you put that, man. I like how you put that. Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of what you said, because she made an excellent point just now.
I go ahead, lady. I'm gonna wait till last.
I'm not gonna answer the question yet, but with Sheen, I just wanted to ask, or not ask, I just wanted to say, like, so how I look at it, right? If a man is looking for a wife, and the wife he's looking for a submissive wife, you got to still show them somehow. That's just what I think. I think men, some of them are not committing or not marrying because they don't know what it looked like. You got to, even though it sounds like a lot, and this is just what I'm thinking is not like maybe the right answer, but how I look at it is like, how they gonna marry you if they don't know what you look like as a wife? They know that you may look good and you may have the potential to be this, but they want to see it. And you may say, oh, or anybody may say, that's a lot of work. I ain't trying to do all that because he could leave me or not want to be with me. But it's like you giving them a chance to like really know you, because these men are scared to marry because these ladies are out here divorcing like it's nothing. So it's like you're trying to show a lot of loyalty. And if you show that you are submissive, you already won.
I can
Lady
show
Di,
him submissive if he's putting forth that intent that he's looking for marriage. I'm not doing that with somebody I'm just dating, you know, who's not sure what they're looking for.
Well, Shayna, I
kind of expect that in some women that they're dating. No, I'm not going to do that for you when I'm not.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
can't
anything serious.
You feel me? You don't got no.
Well, I think a lot of us show submission on condition, and I said that on the video. It's conditional, and you can't be conditionally feminine. It's either in you or it's not. And what a lot of us do, just say if you go into a job interview, what you gonna say? Well, I'm not gonna do this unless they show me this and this and that. No, you're gonna go there. You're gonna wear your nice outfit. You're going to sit there, you're going to be ready, and you're going to answer the questions, and you're going to, do your job to the best of your ability. Relationships, just treat this like I ain't going to call it a job interview, but it is. It's a life interview. You want to spend life with this person. So why would I say, well, I'm not going to do this unless you do this. I'm not going to do this unless you do that. No, it should already be in you. But again, who are you dating? Why are you dating them? And it's like, well, I'm not going to show this person this, and I'm the right man to bring the femininity out of me. No, it wasn't never in you. It wasn't never in you. The femininity wasn't never in you if somebody got to bring it out of you. And submission is innate. It is innate. It's not conditional. I don't think it's conditional, though. I just don't. And many of us do.
I think as a man, I believe to myself, I can also submit to my woman when it comes to certain things. Like if my girl tells me, listen, don't do that with your hair because it's going to thin out and it's going to fall out. I'm not going to sit here and question her a million questions about why I shouldn't be wrapping my hair up in cotton. I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? She know what she's talking about. Just like if it was a car, she would know he knows what he's talking about. So you feel me? It's the trust. It's the mutual trust in each other that we have to make it work. That's what makes relationships go. That trust in each other's decision-making in certain areas.
That's not submission, though, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong.
But men, I always mention how men always been submitting to their wives because if they didn't, it would be no such thing as happy wife, happy life. So men are, as we got married to our woman, we gave them anything they want because we got to keep our wives happy. Sometimes we deal with a lot of shit we don't want to deal with because, a lot of the men's feelings is not a concern. And I don't know if it's on purpose, but we were so trained to keep your wife happy at a certain point that we neglected our own feelings. So, I think that's why it's kind of hard now. So when men do question it, we don't get hurt by words. So the word submission is not that bad to us because we understand the concept of what is being said, rather than women just like, well, I don't like the words. I don't like cooperate. I don't like pursue or whatever they just combat any type of word.
Chase.
Yesterday that they was mad at.
Chase, competing. They don't like compete. They don't like.
They don't like competing for men. So So.
And we'll be chronically single, thinking like that.
Listen, the thing is, a man can never go into dating a woman and being like, well, I can be a leader and I can provide to you if you do X, Y, and Z. Like men can never have that luxury of being selectively like a leader or selectively masculine or selectively a provider. Like me, I know me personally, if I'm dating a woman, I have to come on my best foot forward. Like regardless of my past experience, if I really want this woman seriously and I really want this woman to be my girl, I can't come with maybe when I'm married, I could do that. Like I can't do that. I have to come with you know what I mean? So to hear women have all these stipulations and conditions, as you said, as to why they are not, feminine. And we're going to talk about that as well later, and or why they can't be submissive. And, I don't think no man is asking a woman to just see a guy on the street and be like, yo, be submissive to him. We're talking about in the confines of a relationship as far as dating. Like, you know what I mean? Why is there, if I'm your man or your husband, why is there stipulations to why you are submissive? Like, we're not just saying any random guy off the street you need to be submissive to. We're talking about confines of a relationship. You know what I mean? So
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, because it's just relationship. Not because I know some of us say dating, and dating means relationship. So we just say dating is you just dating guys to see who you want to be with, vice versa. But once y'all commit in that relationship, you gotta show what you about, because they not gonna take you seriously, because he doing everything like why Eli said. But you gotta make sure that you like definitely showing your best foot forward for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we always tell men come correct or don't come at all, but we want to have step and we want them to help us build. But it's like, but you better not come halfway. Come on, I done been there, and it was a certain caliber of a man that had to come in my face, and that kept me, having fun in them 30s.
Yeah, I heard someone mention happy wife, happy life. For me personally, I don't agree with that. Like it's what I learned from my parents is happy house, happy spouse, happy house. I've heard
that's what we preach here too
about it, and the women do not like it.
Thank you for that, Trinity. Yeah.
For me, but people can take it, however, but for me, it's like when it comes to submission, it's like you're setting your pride aside, you're making sacrifices for each other, you're pouring into each other. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not married, so I don't know much, but like you're pouring into each other, you're willing to do more than what's expected of you for that person, when it comes to happy spouse, happy house. Because like you said, men believe in happy wife, happy life, but they're messed up. They're not happy. The men are ready to. That's why you hear husbands killing their wives, and they're like, "Oh, their marriage was so happy." And it's like, clearly this man was breaking down. Clearly he broke. Clearly
they just check out. They just check out now. Check out.
So it's like, I believe, and women can also use that as a way to manipulate. Oh, well, happy wife, happy life. Remember that, and she's not pouring into anything. She's a taker. So I think when it comes,
there's a lot of men driving home from work and just sitting in the garage and sitting in the car like before they go into the house. So you know what I mean? Like, my mom has been married for over 20 years, and she always tells me, son, there's no such thing as 50-50. It's 100-100. That's what she always tells me. 100-100.
Yes.
You got to pour into each other. And I'm glad I said that. I do want to get to this next. Let's get to these super chats real quick. Can we got these super chats?
Yeah, we got a couple. Reckless Gaming said a wise man once said women don't care about a man's struggle. They wait at the finish line and they pick the winners.
I think a bit of responsibility and a bit of accountability also comes on the men that chase women like this, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think that, and I tell people, like I tell my brothers and stuff, if you like, why chase the same archetype of person you complain about, if that makes sense? Like, if you know that these women and they do this, and if you know these men, they do this, why are we glorifying, and these are the people that we glorify and we post up? Like, that's not cool, bro. Like, if that's not what you want, stay out of that atmosphere. That's just not what you need, if that makes sense. So I think there's accountability on both sides there.
Right. That's right.
T Poppy said most men don't date for marriage and men propose. Hence why women are not getting married. Most just want sexual access.
I think a lot of men are not seeing, and it's unfortunate, but I think a lot of men are not seeing the value in marriage anymore. And that's we're gonna segue that into the next topic after we read these super chats.
King Confidence say, yo, fellas, I get up early in the AM, but this panel is by far definitely the best. By far, please bring more of this to the platform and forefront. 100. Shout out to King Confidence.
Shout out to King, man.
Shout out to King Confidence.
My boy showing off them. He's showing off them jazz. He couldn't wait to get them shits. That's it.
Yeah, it's laughing.
So I do want to get into this next topic because I don't have the video, but recently Lala Anthony was on the Breakfast Club, and she just, obviously she's going through a divorce, or I don't know if she is divorced. I don't know what her situation is, but she said she didn't feel like marriage was the end game anymore. Like, my thing is, if marriage isn't the end goal for, you know, our community, what is the end goal in your opinion?
Money.
That's what it sounds like.
Are you asking like on a social level, like
Right?
You know, or like
I'm saying because nobody seems to find value, men and women for some reason seem to not find value in marriage anymore. And then you have women like Lala Anthony, who has such a large following on a public platform like the Breakfast Club, saying like, I don't think marriage is the solution anymore. So if marriage is not the solution, then what is for our community?
This is why it's even more scarier for men, because she's talking from a perspective of a woman that's successful and has money. And it makes me think, did she always date for love, or did she date for money to get to where she was at? You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to criticize women for dating men for, you know, a better life. Of course, you want to build and have a better life, but it comes across to me that, because she is at this level, she gets to talk down on the marriage that she got into because he was rich. You know, I don't know. Maybe it looks crazy to me. I don't know.
I mean, I was gonna say, you got to consider the source too, and look at who you're talking to, who you're around. Where's all this coming from? And you know, I did a reaction on that Lala video. Again, I said the CTS. Let's consider the source. And when it comes to our community, I do think that we're majority is a selfish society. That's why I brought up the whole independent. I was raised like that. Go get what you got to get. You got to do for you. And if you get somebody, make sure you have something on the side just in case. So we always have a plan B in life versus just going with the plan A. And as a community, I think that's a big part of why we do struggle, because it is more singular success versus together.
We just had a woman on our show recently, and she said how she don't date for love, she date for money, and she was very adamant about that. And she said, you know, and I said, well, she made it a big deal about how she had her own money and she was a multimillionaire and all this other good stuff. So I said, well, then why are you dating for money? She said, because she don't want to spend her own money. She rather the man spend his money on her, and she could save her money on the side, which goes to that plan B. You said, like, you know what I mean? That is, to me, that's selfish. Like, you know, you would let your man exhaust his money while you get to save your money and spend it on yourself and have it as a plan B in case the relationship don't work out. Then I gotta out automatically. So, you know, I do agree with what Samantha said about, you know, we're just more selfish in this era than we ever been probably in society. So
I think that
we're told to be selfish.
We're taught.
We're told to be selfish. We're told. We even got self-love. We got self. Like we're kind of being programmed to just be about ourselves. And then, you know, when she said, "Oh, you know, I only date for money or whatever," it's like, well, one thing someone told me, the very same thing you get married for is going to be the very same thing you get divorced for. Like that's what I was told. I could be wrong.
Same thing that'll make you leave.
I'm only married for the money. Like I think with Lala. Was Jew? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like here you go. You married him for the money, and then she got a divorce for the exact same thing. And I think her, you know, being in the success in the high, I think she's doing damage because she does have such a high platform. And so we got these women like Sierra and all of them who they have money. They can do that. They can do that, but they're influencing medium to low income women. Or, you know, thinking, oh, you know, I can do that too. You feel what I'm saying? So next thing you know, medium to low income women are out here. Oh, I don't need you. And we out here single in no money because we allow the women who are in relationships to influence.
I always say, don't allow yourself to look like a public success, but be a personal failure. And many of us, we carry the facade of looking publicly successful and being a personal failure in relationships, because again, that part, and lady, I'm sorry, because I feel like I cut you, but just like the lady with the money, I don't know if she's married or in a relationship. Money could be a mask. To get that, you have all of this money and doing and looking good and all this, you go home by yourself with your dog.
But she also said because said man had the money, she would be much more she would allow, like if he cheated, she would overlook that cheating because that man can provide a certain lifestyle for her. So she's like, yo, you know, she she would be more tolerable of a man who had money and he cheated over a man who didn't have money and cheated. Like, you get what I'm saying? Which most women, we always hear, women would rather be the king's mistress than the peasant's wife. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, this ain't nothing new. This has always happened in society. So, you know,
I think from this idea, not even this idea, but my theory about it, girl. So I don't know. I can only tell my, but I think that a lot of girls through life they're being enabled from childhood. So like your feelings are valid, how you feel is valid, all the way to adulthood. And then when their relationship is not being based on how they feel and the rules of their relationship aren't being ran by their feelings, they resort to the guilt tripping, the shaming, the public humiliation, the emasculation, just the tearing down of a man that's simply just not abiding by how she feels, when that's not what a man is supposed to do. Like, a man is supposed to, cater to you and all that good stuff. But when it comes down to the decisions and the things that need to get done and things that need to be taken care of in your relationship, your feelings aren't what make decisions. Your feelings aren't even me too. Like, my feelings aren't what make or break what we need to do and what we don't need to do. I always tell my girl, we don't make choices. We pick consequences, if that makes sense. So just like how people say, like, you know, that you decided to lay down with that person and that's your consequence that you chose. But I think even, you know, I'm straying a little bit, but I think even going back to it, like, the difference between men and women, especially with our emotions and how we're allowed to express ourselves, I think the difference is that women, when it comes to our parents, to media, to our friend groups, I think they're very enabled in society to do things that maybe aren't morally okay or morally correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone had great insight. But what Sahancho just said, I was going to say something similar. I don't think, to know Lala's past, like, we know she was with Mello for years. She wasn't hot and popping at that time. We seen her on what You Got Served, you know, being a host and radio personality, but she wasn't all the way there yet. I think she probably was with him genuinely. Yeah, he had money. Most of us want guys with money, let's be real. But I don't think she was with him for that. I think what happened was kind of like what Hancho said. She had this idea of what a relationship was supposed to look like, and she thought she was going to get that out of him. Not saying he didn't provide it. I'm pretty sure he probably did provide it. But when things were going south, because, you know, she started to, her career started to go off. She was in more roles and everything. Now it's kind of like you're supposed to make sure your relationship is intact. But if both of you guys are way too busy, because he's very busy and then you're very busy, when do you have time to make sure your relationship is still going and maintaining? So I think after a while, probably just wasn't maintained anymore. Probably a lot of complaints, and they probably didn't know how to handle it. But she's the one that divorced, right? So maybe she just didn't know how to handle it. So I think after that, she just started to become like any other single, not all single women, any other single lady out there that's just like, I don't need this, I don't want that. Matter of fact, I don't need nothing until the rest of my life. I could go settle with that dog, because now she think that marriage is not good when you probably did have a good marriage. It's just the idea of what happened to you felt wasn't good, even though we know that he messed around. But at the same time, I don't know, did he mess around the whole entire marriage, or did he mess around towards the end when she started? I'm just saying, when she started working, doing Power and all these type of shows. So if you're not out there trying to cater to your man, hence he's catering to you, then some men do result into cheating. That's just how it is. Why? I don't know. That's what y'all can let me know. But I'm just saying, that's what it seems to happen. You got to make sure that you catering to your spouse at all times, regardless of your circumstances. You still have to make sure that he's wanted and needed at the same time. I don't think all men just go out there and mess around unless their want and needs are not met. And if they tell you once, some guys ain't gonna tell you twice. It's like, you heard what I said the first time. All right, let's make a change. If not, we done. Because some guys ain't trying to, you know, have a long ass conversation about what they need, because they feel you should know that already. So I think she wasn't with him for the money in the beginning. It's just her mindset changed, and now she's
I agree.
So
Lady Di, I agree with that. I'm sorry. I agree with that wholeheartedly, because going back to that, and I know y'all saw The Best Man, the newest one, when we got to go run back and get all these different degrees, and you leaving home like by itself. And just like a car requires maintenance, it need oil changes. Your man needs that loving too. Change his oil.
Yeah.
You know,
Not to mention that her working is by choice. You know what I mean? Because obviously
Yep.
he's a successful man, so her going out and not being able to cater to him, like you're saying, is by choice because you don't have to work. You could stay home, cater to me, and take care of the kids, but you choose to do that. So he looking at that like, all right, you really don't really want to make me happy. So, and there's women out here that's telling me, now I mean, I would do this, and that for you. So it's like kind of hard.
And also, I don't think men have an issue with women working. I'm pretty sure Ace, we don't have an issue. We just don't want you to focus on family at the same time.
Right.
Yes.
So that's how we work, and we got to provide for our family and do our part. We want women to understand that if you do work and you want to do whatever you want to do and be successful at it, just remember you have a man and children and family at home that still needs your presence and everything that you do. It's needed.
You can't be like some DJ's wives who's taking a 30-day girls trip where her home, like you a whole wife and you got kids, like, you know what I mean? Listen, man.
That's true, Eli. That's true.
So again, what is the solution? Because I know, me, you, and Ace were very big on the nuclear family and marriage and things of that nature. But obviously, when you have people who don't see the value in marrying anymore, what is the solution for our community specifically?
Let go of
together.
Like let go of these old outdated gender roles that we keep. And I think that's the problem. I think that's why people know how things be in the nuclear household or whatever, because we as people don't want to update any of these gender roles, and we feel like those gender roles that were used 40 years ago should apply now. And instead of like throwing gender roles out the window and just throwing them in the trash, why don't we just make our own? Why don't we just come to a conclusion of, and like so many of us on here, like the ladies have really killed it with this point. Everybody's relationship is different. Everybody's love is different, and how you love people and how you love everything is different for everybody. And I think everybody's roles and all that good stuff should be different for everybody. And what social media does is it creates this hive mind of people, because if you have somebody with a big following and you agree with what they're saying, you begin to just, oh, well, they said it. It's just mentally we take it as like a fact for whatever reason because we agree with these people. And that's just not the case. I think that, how do I say this? I think that to get marriage back on track in the way that the Black household was before, I think that we're going to have to do a lot of healing. We're going to have to break a whole lot of these cycles. I'm talking about the deadbeat dads, the abusive moms. I'm talking about all of these things, bro. If we don't come together as a unit, they're just going to keep happening. And our kids are going to be sitting up here on the same panel talking about the same things because we were not mature enough to stop all of the BS that's going on in our community, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Hancho, yeah, you had a great point there. Only thing with the beginning part of what you said, I don't think that you should throw away gender roles. Gender roles are there for a reason. I'm not saying so. This is what I'm saying. You could be married, right? So let's say you and your soon-to-be wife, right? Y'all have a household where you provide, right? And she stays at home. Or you provide and she's providing, meaning she's having money too. You can sit there and be like, I'm just using simple examples. You could sit there and be like, I'm going to wash the dishes tonight. You could go do like another task, right? Yes, you can help each other. Yes, I think marriage, you're supposed to help each other and do stuff together, sure. But when you throw gender roles out the door, that's the problem we have today. Ladies are not at home raising their kids. And I'm not saying that's like the perfect situation. Because my thing is, you could raise your kids until they school age. School age is like 5, kindergarten, right? We taking ladies out of the home way too early. They're not even there to be there and be a better wife, right? A better wife for someone that's in the house. Because they're doing things that's taking care of the house. The house needs a lot of work, right? It needs a lot of work, maintenance in the house, meaning like the cooking, the cleaning, and it needs the nourishment, the nurturing factor. You take that out the house, now everybody don't want to even be with a man because they're like, I could do it all by myself. So I think that creates an analogy that I don't need nothing because I can get the same thing that he's getting, and now let's throw the gender roles out. I think the gender roles are necessary because it helps people stay in place, right? Because we're just genetically who we are. So you guys are genetically men, we are genetically females. So we should act as such, but still respect each other and still help. That's all I want to say.
I want to make this trying to refute what it is that you're saying, because like everything you just said is spot on, correct, factual. I just wanted to make this. When I say that, I more so mean like, I think that our gender roles is like of younger people could be different. I don't want to say like, well, let's just not do them, period. I mean, like, what was a gender role in the 60s might not be the same. That role might be different now. If that
it's not different. It's the same. It's not different. We just have made it trendy.
Can I get like, okay, so for example, women back then didn't have as many opportunities to work, if that makes sense. Women now have a lot more opportunities to work. So in that case, that role of you as a man have to handle everything under the sun financially, that role can be different and accepted now. If that I definitely get what y'all are saying. Like, my girl don't touch the gas pump. I wish she would take the trash out the trash can. I would. She's not going to. You feel me? In that sense, I want to say y'all are definitely right. Y'all are spot on. I guess I just mean the certain things socially that we force onto people that are kind of outdated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree with Hancho. Like, for the again, like he said, women didn't have the same opportunities to work. Now you guys can bring income. In some situations, you guys are actually out earning men in some scenarios. So I think in that situation, if a woman is working, she should very much want to contribute to her family's finances and not just put all of the burden. Like I said, if a man making 100K in New York City is the equivalent of 36K. Like, of course, he might need his woman to contribute financially, not to him, but to his overall family, to take off of some of that burden. That way, me as a man, I don't have to work 90 hours a week and I'm unable to see my kids, or even when I'm home, I'm exhausted. I want to spend time with my kids as well. And I don't necessarily feel like a woman has to go to work and come home and cook and clean. I can handle some of those responsibilities as well. So I do understand what y'all say about the gender roles. And I do agree with Hancho that they could be updated, is what I think Hancho is trying to say. Like, you know what I mean? And we adapt to every situation in our society, whether it's alternative lifestyles, whether it's everything else. But when it comes to relationships, we still want to be almost barbaric and still have to follow these certain set traditions that may or may not apply to this current day and age, is what I'm trying to say.
I think real quick, I don't want to take whoever wants to talk, but I just want to say, I think, yeah, it could be updated. I think that if you know, let's say a guy, and it's not to throw no shade, everybody here, like you said, in New York City, you make this certain amount of money, it's not equivalent. So there's times where we don't get very good opportunities to make a little bit more. So therefore, you know, we have to update that. Now the lady could work and y'all both are putting in work together, which is a lovely and great thing. But the relationships that, let's say, don't require that, because I think a lot of our standards, some of us, not in every area. New York is a whole nother situation. I'm not even talking about New York at all. I'm going to talk about everything else but New York or maybe California. Everywhere else, because everybody don't live there. Everywhere else, I think that people have high standards in these other places. There's places like, let's say,
Alabama. All
right, perfect example. It's cheap as hell in Alabama. You do not need that much money to take care of your family. But what's happening is they looking at people in New York City like, oh, I need a man that makes that. No, you do not. You could be well off with 60K. You could even be well off with 50K. But they looking at other people's lifestyles. You cannot compare a large ass city with a small ass town. You cannot do that. And that's what they're doing. I think that you can very much survive on an average income. And I'm talking about just a man working alone. And then you have, you know, you have to elevate. I'm not saying you make 60K and then now you got 3 kids and you still at 60K. No, you need to definitely make your money go up. So that's all I wanted to say.
I like that, Lady Di. I like that.
That goes back to about lifestyle as well, because some women do want a certain specific lifestyle that they think comes with marriage. So again, we go back to, well, I want my man to be able to take me on vacations when I want. I want to be able to have the Louis bag. I want to be able to get my nails done every week. Like, you know what I mean? Which is not realistic necessarily for every man to be able to afford like that. And that's across all gender groups of ethnicities of men. Like, you know what I mean? The average income for just men in general across all, you know, ethnicities is what, 50K? You know what I'm saying? So of course, I'm not gonna be able to get your hair done every week. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be able to fly you out the country every week. Like, I gotta worry about our family and what's best for our family. Like, you get what I'm saying? So
I think a lot of that. Oh, go ahead. Okay. Go ahead.
So why Eli, right? So do you think you see what you just said about ladies wanting the hair done. We do. Like me, myself, I want my hair done and my stuff done. I want all that. But at the same time, do you think because we are high maintenance that you guys are trying to keep up with our needs and you feel you have to make more just to pay for that? Is that a factor for y'all?
Absolutely.
I think you have to. The needs of my family is going to outweigh the needs of my wife. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you do want to keep your appearance, but some week, hey, you know what? I just paid rent. I just paid for groceries. I just paid for the kids to do this, that, and the third. I might not have it. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe next week I'll have it. So me personally, I'm thinking about my family. Like, you get what I'm saying? My kids good? Is there food on the table? Do they have electricity? Do we have the essential needs? And then if I have money left over, then sure, you could go get your nails done or whatever the case is. But I'm not going to put that over feeding my family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me personally.
And something like listen to everyone talk, you know, with the gender roles and the money and everything. I think like a solution is definitely, some people may agree, you may not believe, but I think it is bringing God back into stuff. Like, some people may disagree. If that's okay, if you don't believe him, this isn't for you. Like you said, if it don't apply, let it apply. But noticing even in television with families, they went to church, they prayed, I think when we do start bringing God into it is when we're able to bring back the original definition of marriage. God doesn't say anything about money when it comes to marriage. Maybe hopefully I'm
not. No, you okay? I agree.
Yeah, last time money wasn't a factor when it came to being married. Like, I genuinely believe that we have to bring back the meaning of marriage, which means being one with that person before God. And I think when that actually starts, then the people will want to get married for that reason. Because now marriage means instead of till death do us part, it's until I don't feel like now. You know, I don't feel like being married no more, so I'm gonna stop. But I think when we actually bring God back into it is when the original definition of marriage comes to play. Which till death do us part before God, and I think that's just me.
I think we do emphasize money, like, because I remember watching the podcast, and I think Jew was talking to some girl, and she said something about like two like alphas being in a relationship or something of the sort. And I thought about it, and the example that she gave, if I'm not mistaken, was Jay-Z and Beyonce. And I said in my mind, I said, well, we have no idea what their relationship is like behind closed doors. We have no idea what toxic things they may be dealing with inside of their relationship behind closed doors. And holding up that image of literally being America's couple, especially in the Black community, it's like all of that negative things, they can't come out, because if they do come, you're not DaBaby and Danny Lay. You are the hip hop equivalent to Michelle and Barack Obama. So it's like, that's why I think like a lot of those things can be misconstrued when we use words like alpha and beta and all. Like, it all centers around money, if that makes sense. All of it is falsely around the American dollar, which I think is another reason why the Black household is in the turmoil that it is in, if that makes sense.
What solution is stop being selfish and come together? Stop being selfish, and we selfish, and a lot of us, you know, a lot of this is by choice. A lot of stuff we go through, and it's legit. A lot of it is a choice, and that goes back to the question number at the beginning about social media, how it's shaping us to be what we are, and all that lifestyle stuff. We most of the time are marrying for lifestyle and not for love. And you got to really look at that. So
that is a fact. I do want to get into this next topic. We got a couple more. This time is flying by. I ain't gonna lie. Like, we almost at the 2-minute mark. We still got a couple of more topics to get to. Let me get to this one video. And then we can segue into this whole pearly thing situation.
I'm definitely enjoying y'all's company, though. I'm definitely enjoying y'all's conversation.
Yeah, it's a dope conversation. I appreciate it.
I like this.
Yo, man,
we ain't got to yell today.
We ain't got to yell. We ain't definitely got to yell today, man. Like, I mean, make sure you hit that like button, man. I know y'all enjoying the conversation. Hit that like button. Share this out on social media to somebody I think will enjoy the conversation, because it's a pretty dope conversation. Go ahead, King, with that.
Guys, real quick. Judge said Honcho is Spence to the young brother.
Much love, man. Just trying to make us better.
Young Progressive said, great panel. The guests are spinning straight facts. Y'all are the best podcast on YouTube. No cap. Big ups from Brooklyn. You heard?
Oh, shut
Shout
up,
out
bro.
Young Progressive.
Young Progress.
Listen, let me get to this next video, and then we're gonna react to it, and then get to the other topics.
My experience and my observation is that most women are men in skirt, meaning that the way their presence, their being, the way we roll in the world, it's very masculine because we've been conditioned and programmed out of our feminine. And when I say, I don't mean feminist movement in the world, I want to be a fireman or a football player. I'm talking about how to be a woman in your being. What is the distinction between feminine power and masculine power? And we've been conditioned and trained to be men in skirts. We do everything like men. We compete like men. Most women want their boyfriend to act like their girlfriend, you know, chatting, shopping. But when the man comes home, what they meet is another dude. If a woman really understands and knows who she is, she can walk in a room and take control of every man in the room. How she walks, how she sits, how she talks, how she be. We don't know how to be women.
Yeah, so again, another big talking point within these type of podcasts is, women are masculine, men are feminine. Do y'all see a very much dynamic change between men and women, or do y'all think more men are being more feminine? Do y'all think more women are being more masculine? What are y'all thoughts on this whole topic?
I think the whole, what Samantha said about us being pretty much bred to be independent brings more masculinity to women. So it's almost involuntary in some cases. We have to learn to be soft. We're not soft initially because we're forced to be independent. So young, should I say.
It's like I hear that a lot about forced to be independent because we're like taking on the role of a man and providing. But I want to separate providing and then leading, because we can provide. Yes, we gonna have to if they not doing it. But do we have to lead? Like if we get a man, we got money like him, then okay, we don't have to lead. That's not our role. And I think because we think we got money, now we got to take that leading role. So I think we just got to separate the two. We got to separate the two and be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna have money. Let's say I make more than him, because sometimes that's just how it is. But let me still let him be a man, because I think men are becoming feminine because they not leading. To me, you ain't leading, then I don't want to say it like this, it might sound wrong, but if you're not leading, then I don't see how you're a man. Respectfully, I'm gonna stop right there because I don't want to.
Well, no, that's fine. I would say this: 80% of households are raised by single mothers. So a lot of the men that act feminine, they was raised like that, and unfortunately, and I know we don't want to use the word beta, but I'm gonna use it. There's a lot of beta males out here, and what happens is they grow up. Beta boys grow up to be beta males because a lot of mothers, we coddle our sons. That's just what we do. We love our baby boy, just like father. This is why I say a lot of women growing up with their fathers date different. They date different. So, but when it comes to mama-led households, I come from a matriarch. I do. My grandmother was the head. How many of y'all got big mamas? Yeah, they run it. They do. They run all of that. My grandmother ran it to her passing a couple of years ago, which my family, we still, dealing with those detriments of her not being here no more. But a lot of women-led households turn into independent women who carry the masculine traits of being extra. But you a CEO in that boardroom, you come in that house, she gone. She's still at that work. You don't bring her in the house, and we're not taught that because we're out here for too long. And the CEO, she not CEO at home, she MOM and WIFE, and we don't understand that. So
I think that I ain't gonna lie. I think that I'm gonna put it like this. I think certain women raise their sons to be men that they would date, and I think that's emotional. If that makes sense, like
that's a great perspective because we do.
If that make it, and even to just follow up on that, I think that there's a turning point in a boy's life where, and nobody talks about this, and I don't think it's talked about enough, but there's a moment in a boy's life where whatever age, it could be 8 years old, maybe up to like 13, where the world just stops caring. You're not a little boy no more. You're not a boy. The world stops caring about you, how you feel, what's wrong with you. Maybe you're depressed.
Right.
and a lot of I've seen the Black community really don't even believe in mental health. So it's like a lot of like that transition from I'm the baby boy and I'm this, that, and the third onto how you're treated as a young man. Those are very. It's like having two different moms. It's like you have a mom from maybe when you're born to when you're like 10, and then after that you have a whole different mom. It's a weird experience.
Well, Huncho, that right there is when you start the puberty too, and I think that's when the male is needed. Like a lot of male guidance. If you got uncles, if you know, just say to single mothers, get them around some uncles, get them around some trusted male advisors, because we can't tell y'all how to use the bathroom. We can't tell y'all about these different thoughts, and it's only so much that we as women can do. But back to the masculine and thing, a lot of women ask me what's being masculine. We know what it is. I think many of us just we know.
They want to normalize they want to normalize their actions, which is why they ask, like, wait, why? We have that too. When we say that on the show, well, what is masculine? I know damn well what is masculine, because if I have a list of like 5 videos of women who are in their feminine, women who are in that, I would know the difference immediately. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know. So I knew feminine was feminine. Like, I thought feminine was the way you dress, right? But then I didn't know anything about masculine with the mouth. So at first I really didn't know. I'm gonna be real. I never knew the difference until I seen it, like you said, showing a video. Then I'm like, oh, okay, I see the difference now. I just had to learn that, and I wish I learned it, a lot younger, so I won't have to change so much. But it's I do think a lot of ladies do know, and then I think a lot of ladies don't know, just based off me not knowing, and what the people I talk to, they don't even know the difference. They're like, well, if we're having an argument, how else am I supposed to let him know my feelings without yelling? I think they don't understand that when you start yelling at a man, he gonna wanna try to fight. Well, he ain't gonna fight you, but he gonna want to.
You can't go head up with no man.
Yeah,
and that's what a lot
in that
of us
way.
do. I was doing it, and sometimes me and my significant other, that's where some of our difficulties come from, because I was that. That's why I call myself reformed modern woman, because and then most of our arguments was this, and this is what I work on that, and when I see other women do it, I be like, Dad, was I doing that? Yeah.
I think a lot of it's learned behavior, though. We see how our moms treated men or whatever, and we think it's normal.
Yeah,
it's not.
I also think it's like the normalizing. I don't know. I just think we've gotten so used to not holding. I don't know. Women just aren't really held accountable for certain things. I feel like when it comes to women, with certain things, they're justified. Like I've heard women say, it's because our trauma. It's because we weren't taught this. But it's like, if one thing that we're all taught is, if we don't know something, you learn how to do it, but you have to be willing to learn how to do it. So if you're not taught how to be feminine, if you're not taught how to do hair, you hurry up and study how to do hair. If you're not taught how to do your nails, you hurry up and study and ask questions how to do nails. So I think it has to go into being willing to take that accountability. Oh, I don't know how to do this, but let me actually learn. And I think that the women who, this cycle of masculinity and women, I can raise the kid by myself, comes in with the whole, with what they're surrounded with. They're surrounded by other women who also do the same thing. So no one is saying, hey girl, like you're doing this by yourself, right? This is no one's fault but your own. Like, we're so used to bringing stuff, slavery, this is why we're like this because of slavery, and this is why. But it's like, if that's the case, what about the Black women who are feminine? Does slavery have something to take place in that as well? You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
Trinity, to your point here, and the whole Black women aren't protected. I have yet to find a female to tell me how we not protected. And I, that whole Black women are protected. We aren't protected, and we going back to the Harriet Tubman, Alice, Color Purple days. When we gonna stop? When we gonna stop that? If no one has really told me how we are not protected. Black men aren't protected. Black people aren't protected. And I think a lot of the times, majority of the stuff comes to women, and accountability is like kryptonite to us. You can't tell us. And that's why Kevin Samuels has such a bad rap, because it was a lot of accountability. Accountability is kryptonite. It'll kill us to admit that we're wrong.
your whole life. Like, I mean, it's hard. Like, you feel me? That when that enabling is just indoctrinating in you to where my feelings are just absolute and I can never do wrong, which a lot of like women are raised like that. It's to tell them when they're wrong, because it's like, well, I can't argue with your feelings because that's not logic. Well, you're being too logical. Well, I can't. What do you want me to? You know, it just in that. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
I think.
Thanks.
Oh, go ahead.
I think there's very much, you know, obviously there's a balance that both men and women have. We both have both of those energies, the feminine and the masculine energy that resides in both of us. It's when you lead with one more than the other is when it becomes an issue. And I know Hancho said earlier that, you know, basically his woman was the reason why he, you know, was able to overcome certain things. She basically made him a better man. And I'm pretty sure that was her feminine energy making him become a better man. And it's unfortunate, but I say this all the time. I wish our women in our community understood how powerful femininity is. You know, instead of always trying to make these excuses to why they are masculine. Men ain't trying to hear that. Like, I'm not trying to hear that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've said this to women countless times. If I hear the word masculine come out your mouth, or you making excuses of why you're masculine, that's a turnoff to me. Like, you get what I'm saying? I like, because you wouldn't care if I was in my feminine. I couldn't use that excuse. Oh, I grew up around single mothers, or I grew up around women all my life. You wouldn't use that as a valid excuse for me to be in my feminine. So why should I have to tolerate you in your masculine, or these excuses? Like, that to me is just a turnoff. You know what I mean? And another point I wanted to make: how many black movies y'all seen growing up where the mother and son dynamic was, the mom was so masculine and she was so hard on her son? And a lot of black men have experienced those type of mothers. I was raised with an aunt who was very much masculine. I mean, like Super Saiyan masculine. Shit was crazy. But again, I associated that with black women. So when I did meet women of other ethnic groups who didn't lead in their masculinity, it just felt so much different as a man to receive that type of energy from a woman. So a lot of black men are growing up with some black women who live so much in their masculinity. When they meet women of other ethnicities who don't lead in they lead in their femininity, it's such a relief. It's a breath of fresh air almost. Like, you know what I mean? I've never experienced this type of femininity in my life. I enjoy what you bring to the table. And that's sometimes what can be a deterrent factor of why you might see some black men date outside their race. You know what I mean? So
I think just to double down on what you had said, I think just as an example, and a lot of guys might find this so corny, but this is what it is. One of the things that sets my girl apart from anybody in my past is she lets me cry. She makes sure that I don't never leave the house emotionally pent up. I'm never leaving the house with any type of anger, aggression, anything that's on my mind. I can let it out to her. And she doesn't throw it back in my face. She doesn't make fun of me for it. She does not tear me down in any way for simply having an emotional spectrum. And I think socially, I think that's why the masculinity, femininity thing has kind of flipped in a way for certain people, because as a man, you're really taught, like, why do you have feelings? Why are you crying? Why are you, that's weird. Like, why? That's just what I was taught. And
but we're taught that from the women. You know, I always say this: it was a woman who told me not to cry as a man. It wasn't any other man. It wasn't my father. It was a woman that told me I shouldn't be crying as a man. So a lot of black men are experiencing the same thing from their women. Is the women that's telling them a man doesn't cry, a man doesn't do it. You get what I'm saying? So we feel like we can't be vulnerable to our women because they look at it as a sign of weakness. You know what I mean? So,
well, Eli, you brought up movies. So I'm gonna bring up 3. The Woman King. I ain't gonna see it because I didn't agree with no title of no darn woman that's a king. I thought it was whack. The title, I love Viola Davis, but I still have not seen it. I know it's on Netflix. No. And then we're gonna go back to Boys in the Hood. If Trey's mother, if Angela Bassett wouldn't have brought her to Furious, he would have been a punk boy growing up. He would have. But she was able to relinquish that mama, the somewhat masculine mama, and say, my boy needs his father, brought him to the father, you know. And then because a lot of that can go with how we're brought up. But the Woman King, that's sensationalized. I don't even want to get into that because I had a lot of people, you ain't gonna support the black movie. No, I'm sick of that. Just like I'm sick of I'm sick of the single mother narrative. I just saw the 1001 with Tiana Taylor. I saw advanced screening of that. I love what they're, Black people doing films, but I'm sick of the single mother trope, Black mother trope, the single Black mother trope. It's just, we do better. It's just we're better than that. But a lot of these movies, especially Black movies, and hopefully some of us on here, I don't know what we aspire to do, but create content. It, like, this is what we're doing here, that shows Black people of a different spectrum, that we do have different ways and ways of being, because all these different movies. And again, Woman King was pushed so hard. I remember I saw that, and it's like, we act like that. No, we are not kings. And I don't want to go into that whole thing, but I still ain't seen it in people where you would
they got the sequel to a Woman King.
No, they don't.
They got the Man Queen. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's coming out.
No, that's called
Stop playing, because they might just do it.
Right? Star Lil Nas X. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
Oh man, you better chill out.
That's my show.
I do have a question though, because I hear a lot of mixed answers when it comes to this. Like, women, some women we have on the show feel like a man should already come healed, which I agree with, but we shouldn't help each other become the best part of ourselves. So as in, like, for example, me and my lady, we used to argue, but now that we listen to each other, I'm helping her become a better woman and she's helping me become a better man. And I think it's necessary for, like, us to work together. I don't think I would be a great man without my partner, and I don't think she would be a great woman without me. You know what I'm saying? So is it true that we can become better masculine men and feminine women with our partners, or is that something that we're supposed to be presented with? Like, we're supposed to be
I think we can help each other. Like, and I think there's a difference between searching for healing and being willing to share your healing journey. I think there's a difference between, I need you to come already set. Like, I need you to come already, all your problems already solved, as opposed to, like, sharing. I want to share my love. I want to share my journey. I want to share my development, my growth, my progress. Like, I think there's a difference.
I don't think.
Oh, go ahead. I want to come into the relationship wanting to grow. I think every healthy relationship comes with growth, or growth should come from every healthy relationship. That's inevitable. Because we are now growing with someone, we're learning to be with someone and learning how to be different people in that relationship, or a different person in that relationship. But what needs to happen is the want to grow. I can't be the only one wanting to be a better person in that relationship. I can't be the only one wanting to, like Hancho said, his girl, allowing him to be emotional and allowing him to cry. I can't be the only one wanting you to do that. You have to want it for yourself.
I think that so what Podcast Jew said is, I don't think women could like teach a man how to be masculine. What I believe is, if you have a very feminine woman, then it's gonna make your masculinity increase to the utmost, because no one is like, battling you. So you have to like fill that space in, because if not, then both of y'all gonna be there emotional as hell. I'm just saying. So if you don't have that lady next to you that's able to give you that type of, I say, power, strength, then no, you can never be that masculine ever. I don't see how it would happen, because she's going to help, destroy it. And then as far as a lady goes, in order for you to be your best feminine self, you need that leader, because it's two things that work well together. To answer your question,
I would say that as well. A lot of with men, the woman you choose says a lot about you, and where you are in your life. But if you've chosen, say, a person and y'all trying to build and grow together, lean into it. And a lot of us don't lean into it. And when I was doing my therapy, and my therapist at the time, I had to fire her. She was a feminist, and I didn't really know at the point, but she did try to teach me to lean into love. I didn't even know how to lean into love, and that was me fighting the feminine and leaning into love. And once we do that, and even with the gentlemen and men leaning into love, hopefully, y'all can meet in the middle and build and grow together to build our community.
I think to make it work, I think the biggest aspect when it comes to the question is that growth should always happen. But healthy growth is I'm growing for you. I'm not growing for no. When your growth is personalized to the person that you're with, I'm not growing for the world. I'm not growing for society. I'm not growing for TikTok. I'm not growing for Instagram. I'm growing for you as my partner. And when those things are personalized, then that's when they become, okay, I should move this specific way for this specific person. And that's how that this is okay. This is not okay. I need to grow out of this. I need to stop doing that. Like, these are a lot of things when we stop trying to be somebody we're not for a camera, and when we stop trying to be somebody we're not for clicks and views and likes in that sense for the world. That's when we really focus on the needs and things that need to be met when it comes to our partner. So I think it can work, but I think it can work when you actually value your image to your partner more than your image to
Back.
I'm a big advocate of healing yourself before you get into relationships. I do think that you're not gonna come 100% healed, obviously, but you got to heal the things that would be detrimental to a relationship. You know what I mean? So you said that's what worked for y'all. Y'all was able to work on that together. So maybe you healed the things that you need to heal before y'all got together, and then y'all could work on what else needs to be healed for y'all to, you know what I mean, focus on the relationship.
Yeah, like sometimes, like it's like I said, I don't think it's ever like a perfect space. You could have a guy that got himself halfway together, and then you got the lady that's all the way jacked up. So you, as you men, to me, should be a little bit more patient out here because we wasn't raised right. Well, not I wouldn't say all of us. Some of us wasn't raised right. So you got to be the one to be like, you know what? I see that you're teachable. You know, like be available for this teachable lady because that teachable lady is going to become the lady that you want. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think you should be able, if like, let's say you're fixed, okay, that's cool, but she not fixed. That don't mean she can't be fixed. Right. And then you probably just missing out opportunity of somebody that could be great. Because if you just think of like, if you think of basketball or something, some of them guys never was, full on champion type style. They had to learn how to be like that. So I think
women have the same grace for men.
No, we don't.
No.
The process.
I don't think they. It's weird. I think we all should give each other grace. Like you can't just sit here and think that everybody gonna have the same and be this way. No, a lot of us really just didn't have great lives. So we got to take that into consideration and be more patient with each other.
Lady Di, that's our double standard though. We don't have that same grace for guys. Like I said, to come correct. That was the whole thing. That I legit dated like that. Come correct or don't come at all. And I'm jacked up. But you got to take me as I am. That whole take me as I am trope. Mary J. Top the rising for us even more. That used to be my favorite song. Till I'm like, what? Take me as I am or have nothing at all. Girl, now she really, think about she ain't got nothing like that. But you gotta think about that kind of stuff. We don't do y'all the same.
Real quick, y'all watch Power? The new Power? Have y'all seen how you seen Mary J's performance in Power? Mm-hmm. You can't tell me that's not a masculine woman, right? Like how she acts, her character is very masculine, and I think that's what we talk about. There's nothing feminine about Mary J. Blige's character in that show. Like,
we'll call her a boss. We'll say she a boss.
It's very much masculine. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's what we men are saying when we say masculine women. How she presents.
Great example.
And I know that's just obviously, but there's a lot of women that are. I'm pretty sure that's. Listen, I don't know Mary. I ain't even gonna say nothing about Mary.
Right, we love Mary.
You know
Mary.
Let me get to this.
But the character is totally that. Right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Let me get to this last topic. I know we had the 2-hour mark. But the conversations has been flowing, man. It's great.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it, man.
Sure. Listen, man. To get to this last topic, and I know this is what everybody was waiting for, basically. But how do Black people control Black spaces from non-Black people? And just to have a little bit of backstory in this, I know everybody's been going crazy about this Just Pearly things. Just if you're not familiar, Just Pearly is a content creator on YouTube. Is very popular. I think she has over 1 million subscribers. But she talks about dating and relationships. But at least in my perspective, when I first seen Pearly things, she had more of a. This is a white woman we're talking about. She had much more of a white panel of audience. But then I slowly started to see her transition into having more Black people on her panel, Black women on her panels, things of that nature. When I think about the Vlad TVs of the world, you know what I mean, of the Adam 22, the No Jumpers, these are white people that's contributing to Black spaces or profiting from, you know, either the trauma of Black people, you know, the dysfunction of Black people, and making a profit. And when I look at it, I'm like, hey, I don't see any Black people in any white entertainment spaces. Like, there's no Black people interviewing country singers, or, you know what I mean? So my thing is, how do Black people as a whole stop these type of things? Even when we talk about Jerry Springer and Maury, these are people who made a living off of the dysfunction within the Black community that didn't look like us. You get what I'm saying? But they made a profit off of our dysfunction, obviously. So what are y'all thoughts on that whole situation? How do Black people control these spaces for ourselves without letting people come in and interfere?
Eli, we got to own. We have to own. And I think a lot of us, going back to you mentioned Maury and Jerry Springer. I used to come home to watch Jerry Springer, but go back to Norman Lear. I did, me and my grandmama, Lord. But anyway, quality upbringing. But yeah, Norman Lear, Take It Back, Good Times, you know, all of that kind of stuff. They created these shows off of basically the dysfunction of Black folks. But fast forward now, you have the Byron Allens. I mentioned him because as much as I think Tyler Perry is doing great things, do I always love his content? No, but I think that he has at least tried to own. No shade on Just Pearly things. She doing her thing, but if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's what I say. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And she has come in and occupied, you know, she doing her thing. I just think that we either own or create what we want to see, create spaces like this, what you guys are doing here, which I think is dope. Keep doing stuff like this and showing your faces. And I think that that's one of the ways that we can continue to grow with quality content like y'all doing.
I think as a community, I think we have to stop turning our trauma and turning our struggles into entertainment for whatever reason. I'm not sure where that started. I'm not sure why we started doing it, but like a lot of the stereotypes that, especially like Black women deal with a lot of stereotypes that are simply just pushed through media and movies all day, every day. And it's like, it's weird to see, because if you actually go into the Black community and see like single motherhood, right? I call single motherhood the equivalent to being from the ghetto or being from the trenches, right? Nobody from the hood wants to be in the hood, if that makes sense. Like, nobody from the hood is going to choose, I want to go back to the hood. I promise you, if most people, if we would stop tuning in, if we would stop paying attention to all these people like the Adam 22s and like even the No Jumper nonsense, right? You'll see like Blueface and Krishan on there, but you'll never see somebody like the Obamas. You'll never see somebody with some sort of substance and somebody trying to be better in the community on a show like that. Why? Because it doesn't give clicks. Positivity in this world under this environment don't give clicks. It doesn't get attention. It doesn't get likes. It doesn't get any type of motion. It doesn't produce any type of division between us. So why would they like it, if that makes sense? And I think it's up to us to really stop glorifying and stop allowing people to use our struggles as entertainment, in a sense of like, I feel like people try to put us in a circus without us knowing, and then
we allow it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's because we allow the money to become, you know, we take the money over values, like, you know what I mean? So of course I can act like a clown, they pay me, right? You know, we always talk about getting to this bag, and these white people, they see it, you know what I mean? They see how money hungry we are and how willing we are to lower our standards if they throw the right amount of money in our faces, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that we need to really address in our community. Is not all money is good money, you know what I mean?
And Eli, to your point, I saw, and I want y'all to go see that movie Air, the Michael Jordan thing that's coming out, because what I saw in that movie was a Black mother that totally pulled for her son. And when y'all see that, you know, and just the Black family dynamic too, overall Black family, because I'm big on Black family, Black love, and the Black man. I'm big on those three things. But what y'all will see in that movie is not just the money, but how can we secure our family for the future? And a lot of us as Black people, we like, oh, okay, I'll take that. Let me go sign it on the dotted line. Let me get that advance. Go on, give me that check. Give me the advance. Versus, what other profit can I make off of this? You know, I'm set. You want my name on these shoes, but how is this gonna help my family down the line? You want my name on this track? how is this going to help my family down the line? We look at just hurry up and give us versus how it grow us in the future.
Yes, that is so true. Like, we'll accept anything for that dollar because we want that $1 million house. But am I gonna get my royalties? Matter of fact, let me up the royalty. You talking about 5? Let me get 20. Like, we just settling. But to answer the question, I don't think I don't see nothing wrong with letting races mix together and be on some type of show. I think that it's okay. But what I see from us is that we're expecting these people to not say nothing. What they are, they can't help themselves. I think that to me, it don't matter to me. That's who they are. That's what they're gonna believe. There's no way they're gonna understand where we come from. Because they're not us. So when they say something off the rip, don't be mad. I mean, you could be mad, but don't let it be like, damn, I didn't see that coming. You did see that coming. You see where she grew up. What are you talking about? Like, even us, sometimes we could say things that we can't say on here, but we say in our family, like, damn, that, whatever we normally say about them. We say that in our own places. So as much as we say it, let them be able to say what they want. Some of them don't even know what the hell they're talking about. So let them look silly. And then we in the back, we could laugh about it, or you could check them if you want to and have like a debate, but it's just going to be a healthy debate. Why should we let other people come in? Is because it's just diversity. If we could stick to each other. Yeah, I think we should own more, like what Samantha is saying. Definitely, we should own more Black. Let a Black business be a Black business, sure. You don't have to let other people in, but you are competing against them. So don't you want them around to learn more things? You can learn from them too, just like they can learn from us. Don't you want them around so you can learn your competitors? If
you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's one thing to I've heard, like, Black people, we so quick to be kumbaya with everybody, and everybody don't be kumbaya with us. So like, again, with the Just Pearly thing situation, is again, she went from having panels of just white women and white men discuss dating to now exclusively only having Black people. There's no diversity there. It's just she understands there's a lot of trauma going on in this community. Let me profit off of it. You know what I mean? So when she's having conversations about why are Black women the least married, why is a white woman talking about why Black women are the least married? Like, you get what I'm saying? That to me doesn't make sense. And obviously, when we talk about the Adam 22s, this is a guy who made, or the Vlad TVs. These are people who have heavily involved themselves in Black culture, whether it's hip hop, and made a living off of it. You get what I'm saying? There's no diversity. It's not like you bring in white artists and Black artists and having a good conversation. You just specifically going after one demographic because you see how profitable it is, and you see how much we like tune into the negativity and things of that nature. So that's my only issue with the Just Pearly things, is that, again, I seen her make that transition. I don't know if it was organic or if she seen something there and was like, you know what, let me profit off this motherfucker. And she has been profiting off of it, obviously. Right. She took the whole Kevin Samuels blueprint and just applied it to herself. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but, it's just, I think we're just too forgiving. And again, when these people do make mistakes, we are the first ones to try to make excuses for them. We try to, now she didn't really mean it like this. But when it's our own people, we're quick to try to cancel them. We're quick to not listen to them. You know what I mean? We make all these excuses for ourselves, but we give these other non-Black people all these outs and make excuses for them. Like, you know what I mean?
And to that, I know when Love and Hip Hop, that's owned by a Black woman, right? She was getting
Mona Fayon.
She was getting all this flack because they were saying that she promoting all this negativity and violence in the Black community. But Maury been doing it for years, you know what I mean? And nobody never said nothing to him, you know what I mean? So it's like, we don't go back and fix the root of the problem. Like, why are women on a show trying to find who the father of the child is? Like, we need to go back and fix why she don't know who the father of her child is in the first place. Now, I mean, she want to be in that show.
Motherfuckers is glued into their seats. Like, he's not the father. Oh, shit. Like, you know what I mean? So
another thing.
Go ahead.
Another thing is, some people feel more comfortable from hearing it from a white person than, okay, so I'll even bring up the Puffy thing, which most people can relate to. Like, people will not want to sign with Puffy for $1 million deal, but was signed with Sony, who's run by a white person who's giving you the same motherfucking deal. But because you're black, there's no trust and you're trying to rob me. But that other man, whatever he is robbing you the same motherfucking way. And I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying that we tend to not trust each other or work for each other and believe what somebody else says to us, if you get what I'm saying.
That whole thing, whose ice is colder? Like, I go buy my ice from a white man or a white person when your brother's selling the same ice. Whose ice is colder?
Exactly.
And Eli, yeah, because and I hate that it's called, we got to just deprogram it. But with the whole and this might be somebody's career title, so forgive me, but the diversity and inclusion, I can't stand that title, because I think that goes back even into Black folks. We always want to diversify and include people when we always on the sidelines. The whole black and brown, no, black and brown this, black and brown that, no, black. Why do we always have to include other people and everything that we do, and nobody includes us? And you know, we have to look at that, and what the Maury's and what you mentioned, the Just Pearly things, it ain't number what Ricky Lake and them was doing back in the day. And now you got these new talk shows that's watered down into the hokey pokey, oh, the deal of the day. No, address the problems as Black people. I don't care about deal of the day. I don't care about the drink cocktail that you can make for Father's Day for your father. Talk about the real issues, and that's what we are not really doing. But when you do, it comes with flack from our own, unfortunately. So the young lady you mentioned is able to capitalize off of a void that we consistently poke at for somebody trying to move us in a positive direction. This is why, you know, and I'll mention Kevin, but he got the flack for that. He got flack for this, for doing what a lot of these shows are already doing to us, but in trying to spin it positively.
And just like you said, Ms. Samantha, just like you said, like, we're allowing it. We're like, they're not forcing these people to be on these shows. They're not forcing people to be on the talk shows. They're not forcing the Love and Hip Hops. They're not forcing anybody to do this. People are doing this up for their own free will. And I think that, you know, clout is one hell of a drug. Am I going to be seen if I do this? Am I like going to get, like you said, money? I think greed also comes into play with that as well. Like, I'm getting paid for it, so I'm willing to coon. I'm willing to be a monkey in a cage for some bread. I
think we underestimate how much of our lives are literally indoctrination. I think, like, in my generation is on the cusp of like realizing this, because almost all of these issues that we face as Black people stem from some form of indoctrination, stem from some form of push stereotype, stem from some form of like, you're programmed to think this way. And as soon as that is figured out and everybody's like, wait, we think like this on purpose, this is exactly how they want us to think, we would all stop thinking like that. Whether you're talking about single motherhood, whether you're talking about deadbeat dads, whether you're talking about passport bros, whether you're talking about independent Black, it don't matter. They want us that it goes hand in hand. If they didn't want us to think like this, they wouldn't be using our struggles as entertainment. It literally is a and think. It goes like right there. And I think Lady made a real good point when it comes to, you can't argue or debate somebody out of their ignorance. They're there in that position that they are because of their ignorance. They're not us. They're never going to be us. They don't know what it is to be us. I don't know. And it's even deeper than that. I don't know what it's like to be a Black woman. I would never wish a menstrual cycle on my worst. I don't. I wouldn't. What it's like to be that. Just like, but it's like, but we would stop if we could just get out of this indoctrination and really realize how big the scale is when it comes to the people in power and the 1%, and how people that want us to keep each other, that they don't even have to do it to us no more. We do it to ourselves.
We do it to ourselves.
When they blew up the Black household, that was the beginning. Like that it still trickled down to what is now. They're literally re-implying Jim Crow laws in Mississippi right now. And we're so focused on Krishan and Blueface, and we're so focused on, you know, Jay-Z's daughter, and we're so focused on whether LeBron James's son is going to make it to the NBA, that we literally, nobody talks about it. You feel me? It took for them to, like, even on TikTok, it took for them to want to ban the app completely for us to do any form of unification and waking up as to what it is the government and everybody else got really going on. You feel me? So I think, just to sum all up of what I'm saying, and I know I'm, but if we get out of this indoctrination and we can step out of the matrix that they've put and installed in our households and our neighborhoods, we will literally get to the point where we don't need them, and that's scared of.
They know that. They know that. Yeah, we in a straight matrix.
Yeah.
I think that we got to go back to like Hancho said. I think Hancho and Samantha, somebody said about ownership. When I look at entertainment, I'm not mad at the entertainment, but if we're not the ones that's controlling it or profiting from it, then that's when it becomes an issue. Just like when you think about the NBA, that's like 80% black athletes, or the NFL, and there's barely any black owners. You know what I mean? Like when you think about the hip hop industry, that's $1 trillion industry, but there's really no black owned record labels. All of the black, you know what I mean? We don't control a lot of our culture, unfortunately. And then, when we have these people that come into the culture and profit off of it, is this something that they've been doing? You get what I'm saying? Like, we just got to get back to trying to get to ownership level and controlling or profiting from our own culture, because we spend trillions of dollars every year, black people alone. You know what I mean? And a lot of it isn't on black-owned brands. You know what I mean? It's on Louis, Gucci, all these white designer brands, the Benz, all of this stuff that's not black-owned. You get what I'm saying? Imagine if we put that money into ourselves, investing into ourselves, we'd probably be in a way better scenario than we are now. Not even probably, we would definitely be in a way better scenario. So
let them try to down Wall Street today. Let them that today. Let them try.
I think the education
nothing else like that.
Yeah, I think the education system definitely has a huge effect on things like that. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I went to school, the only thing I was taught was slavery and after. I was not taught.
They start you with that. They start you to. They make sure you know you
they
came
make
in
sure
as a slave.
they make sure to tell us you were slaves. That's all you came from.
The education system is antiquated anyway. They need to just update that whole thing. I being a college graduate, sometimes I'm like, did I even really need college? Because of the stuff that they were teaching is archaic. A lot of that is archaic teaching. I just racked up a bill. It is. I racked up a bill, and I think that ownership is key. But what y'all doing with the Daily Wrap Up crew, and even you mentioned like cars, why can't we own a car line? Why can't we? But we have to start doing the stuff to do it and putting it into play. So that's why I'm here.
I hate to be the evil person, but it's the same reason why some black people can't have a supermarket, because other black people are going to walk in and be like, well, I'm not getting no discount. I'm going to these schools and fuck you. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop.
We do need to stop.
It's that, and then it's confidence. Like you mentioned, why can't we have our own cars lot? We can. You just gotta literally. It's so easy. Go buy. You know how
I'm talking about a whole car brand, a brand.
A brand.
Tesla.
Like a Mercedes.
It's like y'all said. It's a group of us coming together. But see, we all, I think, have to fix our traumas, because we don't. Some of us hate each other, which is the weirdest thing to me. We have to love each other in order for us to come together. Once that happened, yeah, sure, we could have our own car brand, because we all have to come. Like all of us on this panel alone can make a great product. But let's say half of us be like, nah, I ain't gonna do that, right? Because they already putting in, oh, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Nah, I don't like what he said. I don't like what he did. And then damn, half of us already gone. Now the rest of us, let's say the other 4 of us are like, damn, now we need more people. Who we gonna get? And you're gonna go in this damn cycle of finding good people. Then you're gonna start grabbing other races, because you're like, what am I supposed to do?
We're also not protecting the person that need to be protected. I remember, even though, great men like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was assassinated, but a lot of black people protected them for the most part when they could. And I remember there was a man who built a car engine that can be filled with water or something like that. Already got past, he got killed. You know what I'm saying? So there's black people with great opportunity for success. Dr. Sadie, we never really, helped his message be spread. We just like, oh, well, he making money. You get what I'm saying? I think we need to focus on protecting the black person that has the right message, that we all want to push, that we all agree on, and invest. Like, we may have to invest. We may have to spend some money so they can get to there, so we can get to there. You get what I'm saying? I think we're so scared, like, oh, I don't want them getting rich. We need to stop thinking like that and invest into somebody that we can believe in that can help us.
I like that. Have we had another Malcolm X or Martin Luther King? Have we had another Huey? You know what I'm saying? Well, have we had any? Have we? I'm asking y'all, have we had that person?
Anytime we try,
we replace them with celebrities and social media influencers. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we look up to, unfortunately, now. Like, you know what I mean?
Or they're taking our pages down, kind of like, everybody now is on social media. This is how we learn stuff today. They'll delete a page in a minute. You know what I mean? So it's like we got to find other ways to communicate to our community other than, supporting certain channels. So
do y'all think that Kevin was on that road? Kevin Samuels,
I believe Kevin, Kobe Bryant, and Nipsey Hussle was all on that road.
Okay.
Look,
and they all dead.
Yeah. Doing what he was doing to pull enough people together to start making systematic changes, they would have knocked him off. He would have disappeared suddenly. That's how you gotta.
Some people might say his death is a big conspiracy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So,
we were raised in
he was right here.
That literally teaches people that Jesus Christ was a white dude.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. We're really raised in a society that people everywhere. I spent 7 to 8 years.
We believed it.
I lived in
That's
the Bible.
The craziest part.
Literally, everywhere you go, all over these church walls is a white dude with blue
eyes,
his
long hair,
long, stringy hair. Like that's literally the system. And everybody else is cool with it, and because of that, I guess we're just cool with it. Like I hate how sleep we are. You feel me? If that makes sense.
Just like Huncho said when he's talking about indoctrination, I think the Black community is indoctrinated to believe that we can't go far. Like. I think that we are indoctrinated. I think we're indoctrinated. We're taught that, oh, you're Black, so if this don't happen, it's because you're Black. So it's like, oh, I'm Black, so I ain't gonna go very far. So
we scared of success.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like I think once we get out of, just like Huncho said, once we get out of that indoctrination and realize, oh damn, I can do like more. I think once we get out of that and start teaching our kids.
You talking about decades of programming? That's going to be tough.
I know,
you know
but it starts with us as when it starts with us personally, and then when we start having, if we do decide to start having kids, that's how it starts. Of course, you're not going to change the whole world. Of course, everyone's mind isn't going to change, but it starts with you as you personally, and then when you start having kids, then teach your kids what the education system refuses to teach them. That's how that works. It starts in the house.
I'm saying.
Listen, I do want to we got some super chats that we're gonna get to, but again, I appreciate y'all for having this live stream panel with us. Very informative. I hope the people that's watching got some quality insight, from this live stream. Share it, like it if y'all didn't already like it. Subscribe for more content. We try to do our best to balance the conversations. We can have panels like this, but of course we got to have the panels where, for entertainment reasons, obviously, like, you know what I mean? So there does unfortunately have to be a balance within, the type of entertainment that we do. Of course, the people want to tune in for the craziness, but we still want to have those conversations, these productive conversations as well. And I'm just glad that we were able to have these conversation. And I'm be honest with you, like Honcho said, or somebody said, when we do have the panels, the actual panels of much more mature women or much more logical women, the numbers don't do as well as if a woman is yelling while she's a side chick, like, you know what I'm saying, or like, you know what I mean. They just don't do as well. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, y'all look at those numbers, that's cool, but once we have people going back and forth with a woman who want to be alpha, then y'all want to tune in. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, obviously we do have to have that balance. But again, we do appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let me get to these super chats real quick before we end it out.
We got one for Michael.
What up, Mike? Still here with us from the beginning.
Reckless Gaming said the problem is hoflation. Look into it.
Hoflation.
Facts. The normalizing of holism. Yes, for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Mark S said my mom is hypermasculine and it's hurt our relationship. Also, Hitler stash Eli is
back, man. Back in action, man. Shit ain't going nowhere.
Yo, shout out to Mark X, the comedian, man.
What up, Mark?
He's a funny dude, man. That one from T.O. says single mothers implanting their sons the idea of respecting women like a man, but being a gentleman and chivalrous at the same time, to pander and cater to her feelings no matter how she act.
That's true.
In certain cases, yeah. Like that's definitely pretty like common.
Pandering is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
It's profitable. It's profitable.
Pander bears.
The break.
Pander. John said, and recently just Pretty Things had a known racist on her platform. That's a fact too.
And also made some racist ass marks.
She was sounding real crazy herself too, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. T.O. said, no, it's Pretty Things producer is the one doing the recruiting for her panels. He's Nigerian.
Yeah, she was talking shit about him too.
Oh yeah.
She made a point about how African people are more hardworking. And I think that's like saying just because somebody's willing to take less to do a job doesn't necessarily mean they're more hardworking. I think people equate that, oh, I could pay him $5 and he's running my whole channel. He's more hardworking. Like, no, you're paying him less. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
we just know our worth, and we ain't gonna do that for that little bit of money. People over there, I mean, that might be, I mean, the financial difference might be, I mean, why they're pushing it. Because I mean, $5 here and then $5 there is two different things. You know?
Exactly. So they might be working a little bit harder for that lesser pay, but it means more to them.
It means more to them, exactly. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I just wanted to break the seriousness for just a second because I heard a lot of people. I was looking at the feed and everybody was saying somebody. I'm not gonna lie. This right here is a bonnet, and I'm gonna tell y'all why I wear it. Because
bonnet.
As a man with locks and Jew, I'm pretty sure you can relate to what it is that I'm saying. I am not sitting in a do-rag all day. I refuse.
The do-rag don't stay on. I do got a bonnet upstairs, you know, when I go to sleep.
That's all. We gonna leave it be.
The do-rag, y'all. Every time I go to sleep, the shit is off. It's gonna fall off.
But do you wear the bonnet in public?
No, I don't leave that. Like I got
y'all get a satin pillowcase, change your life. That's how I sleep. Satin pillowcase.
Yeah. You know what women be doing? Y'all be sitting up for like 40 hours.
I sleep.
In the sarcophagus position, like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a wild sleeper. My foot be on my lady head.
Ladies, y'all can probably agree with me that wearing cotton on your head all the time and rolling around.
I sleep on the satin pillowcase. I don't
you play. And I'm gonna have to go to the loctician to get some repairs, and I don't need that. I mean, that's all.
Okay.
Well, shout out to you in your bonnet, man. Ransom said studying warfare as a community will help establishing a cultural code is a solution. When attacked, the we are not a monolith concept is a luxury we no longer have. We gotta look into that. Shout out to Big Bro Niji in the building. I mean, it's
what up, Niji?
Fourth member of the Dailyrapupcrew. He said, if we start spending money with them, imagine how much control we would have over our own image to the world. That alone would change how we see each other. That's a fact, man.
That is a fact.
We only bought black for a month. We probably shake the world.
Oh yeah,
just a month.
Yeah. Wait, and I do want to make a point real quick. I remember growing up in the 90s. We used to have those people who used to sell the bootlegs all the time, the bootlegs of all the movies.
Yes.
And we had a lot of black movies in cinema at that time, but we never supported it because we were so busy supporting the bootlegger.
The bootleg,
what I mean? I think that to me is a form like go to the movie theater, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know man got it for $2.99. Well, go to support the black movies, man. Like, you know what I mean?
We felt like we were supporting the black business.
I mean,
I ain't gonna lie. I watched Black Panther 2 and I couldn't tell the difference. I ain't gonna.
That's Woman King Part 2.
I was asleep. I fell asleep. It is Part 2. As I fell asleep.
All the women was really the kings, and the niggas was the housewives. Like,
wow. When I fell asleep in the movie theater at Black Panther 2, and people, how could you? Because I did. It was boring. I was asleep.
Well, shout out to what's his name that produced the movie?
Ryan Coogler. Shout out to Ryan Coogler.
Who also exploited African American people fighting Spanish people. That was Brooklyn and LA all in one.
Yeah.
Yo,
Creed
was
good.
About black and Spanish people fighting each other, and
It
black men got their women fighting for them. That's all right. Look,
which was totally a different concept than the first movie. It was built on a totally different concept. So.
They came together in there. They came together in there. Weasel said, shout out to Weasel. Said, let's start here. Support for free. Like, share, comment, support for donations, and all buying gear. Shout out to Dailyrapupcrew.
Yo, shout out to Weasel. That's a fact, man.
Shout out to bro Weasel. Alicia said, great panel. Want to see action and collaboration. And I think this. Oh no, we got another one. Shout out to Michael again. Marriage, politics, and sports. Said was on a live this afternoon on reparations. 8 people agreed on some form as necessary. However, we argued all live long because of what form it would take. The need to be right is destructive to progress. That's a fact, because we had a conversation about reparations too, and where we disagreed on is, who would get reparations. And my argument was, if it was a different race, I don't think they would have a argument on who's getting it. It should be everybody. That would be their argument. And that's why I think divides us, why we can't get nothing done, because
that can't. But again, you want to bring Africans and Caribbeans into that's for foundational Black Americans. The same way Jews, you can't be associated and a Jewish person and get reparations. You got to be Jewish, you know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure when Jews got reparations, they didn't say, "Oh, you not light skinned Jew, you can't get reparations." But I surely do hear the people that are not foundationally Black say they're not Black. But if you out here saying you're not Black, that's not what Black people went through slavery and all this other. It's not fair, bro.
Yeah, I can't. If you were an immigrant, I respect immigrants. I'm not saying anything wrong about Black immigrants, but I don't think Black immigrants should be rewarded the same reparations that Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, have worked hard for. You know what I mean? So I think I get what you're saying, but you can't just be like Black is Black when it comes to reparations, but y'all be the main ones shitting on Black people in America. You know what I'm saying? So
have y'all been watching what's going on in San Francisco? I don't know how close they are to their reparation situation. So.
I think
I don't know. I heard a few things. I still don't think
we'll see what happens.
But this is a start.
If instead of looking at reparations in a way of everybody gets a check, and I think that's what the government would honestly want to do, because let's give them all this money, they can give it back to us.
Anyway,
reparations should be, let's go fund neighborhoods. Let's go put a YMCA here.
Now we want to check.
Let's get all these off the street. Let's get all these drugs up off the street. Let's put in money to do that. I guess that's just what reparations would be to me.
That's like saying we know Native Americans have received reparations in this country. That's like a Guyanese saying, a Guyanese from Guyana being like, well, I'm Indian too, or somebody from Pakistan be like, well, I'm Indian too, I deserve reparations. We know what Native American Indians are, you know what I'm saying? We understand there's other Indians in other countries, but they're not coming in saying, well, we deserve the same reparations Native American Indians got, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what some people are saying.
Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is Black people on the whole, no matter where you're from, represent 14% of the what's
in America, we're 14% of the population.
Like 13% of the population. So if we over here separating, all right, and we're not all fighting together with the little numbers that we already have, we're not gonna get nowhere. That's all I'm saying. I'll be willing to compromise and hear that shit out if they stand by with us instead of standing against us. But that's what I'm saying. Stand together. That's all I'm saying, bro. We saying that too. And another thing, how Black Americans are always forgiving, always willing to do the kumbaya, but never offer the same grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all always forgiving to other races. And then when it comes to your own races, it's a different story. I also think that's incorrect.
That's how the game is supposed to go. That's how it's set up.
We're gonna have to do a live stream with Tariq.
We might have to have some people call in.
We got any more super chat?
We got one more reckless gaming. It said black slavery didn't just happen in America, by the way. That's a fact too.
Yeah, I need to go to those countries that slavery happened and work for reparations for those countries. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I don't think it's to me it's simple, but I mean, listen, man, I don't know.
And this is why we gonna continue to be where we at. John said West Indians were enslaved as well, and we immigrated to America and take jobs that natural born Americans won't do. This is not the conversation I want. I want
and I was gonna rebuttal to that. Listen, man.
Yo, black people, no matter where you from, you gonna get the same treatment from these other races, man. If we all stop dividing ourselves from where we from or what color we are or where we grew up and come together, and we will be a lot more powerful than where we are right now.
I agree. I gotta agree with that. Anyway, again, ladies and Huncho, like I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Lady Di, let them know where they can follow you again.
You can follow me on @LadyDi DTM. DTM stands for Dating to Marriage. I'm on all platforms, and you can even look that up on YouTube, or you could type on YouTube Dating to Marriage Support. I go live on Saturdays with my husband. I used to do it by myself, but now I'm doing it with my husband. We are there to help show like a positivity in the marriage world that people act like they don't know exists, but it's here. So you could definitely find us there. But thanks for having me on this show, for real.
You be on Lapeef, right? Lapeef Network.
Yes, I do.
Yo, shout out to Lapeef, man. They do good work over there as well, man. So shout out to them. Trinity, what about you? Where can the folks find you at?
I'm the Real Trendsetter with 2 T's. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Sheena, what about you?
All right, so you can find me at Sheena X Laura X, and that's Instagram and TikTok.
Samantha
at Talk to Samantha. That is Talk, the number 2 Samantha on Instagram, TikTok, and we getting this YouTube going back again because I was slacking, but we coming back and we coming a little harder. It is, but you know what? Hey, my message needs to be heard, and I'm glad to be here and grateful for y'all brothers and sisters. So thank y'all again. It's Talk to Samantha on social, the number 2. Don't put TO, then say that ain't right. Talk to Samantha.
Like you texting somebody.
Yes.
And Huncho, last but not least, man.
Oh yeah, y'all can catch me TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We getting all that started. Huncho on 000. And again, like I really appreciate y'all's time, man. Y'all been great. It's been so much positive discourse that's going on in 2.5 hours. And honestly, like, thank y'all 3 for even getting me up here, because this really right here in my grand scheme of popping up on TikTok has really been my first opportunity to be on one of these. So I really wanted to state that, and hopefully we can, do this again sometime, and just, I really like the vibe of what I got going on. Just keep going.
I do too. This is a blessing. Thank y'all for reaching out to me.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You guys sit down.
Y'all have been amazing.
We gotta give Honcho an extra shout out too, man, because out of 21 years old, knowing his purpose, respecting his woman. I don't know, man.
I'm very impressed. I didn't realize how old he was, but I've seen a lot of his content on TikTok. I'm very impressed with how he carries himself at his age, man. That's pretty impressive, man. Like, so yeah, man. Just we got another super chat. Let me see. We done started a whole diaspora war over here, man. Like, damn, bro. Like, yo, oh man.
T.O. said Black Americans were also telling us immigrants who wasn't Black as kids, so we just repeating what we heard as immigrants.
Yo, and look, as kids, we were immature. You gotta hold that.
Most people be holding shit from kids. I got caught up.
As a young Black kid, I said to other Black kids, "You stink and you dirty." Is it really true? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. Yo, I am a Black man whose father is a Jamaican immigrant. But you got to understand, you cannot take these words from a child and expect to get any fucking value from it.
Motherfuckers be grown ass adults talking about, I got caught an African booty scratcher when I was a kid. I did too. I'm not even African. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all did. Like,
I did too. Yeah,
like,
we all did.
motherfuckers be grown adults talking about, I got teased as a kid. Like, come on, bro. Y'all gotta grow up at some point.
It's trauma, man. We all gotta heal and come together, man. That's it.
We all been something. I've been called Spanish my whole life. I'm not even Spanish.
Or is he? I mean, the verdict is, you know.
Let me tell you something. You're a liar.
Nigga said, pat your hat if you Spanish.
So was I supposed to feel some way? Maybe I should have felt some way. You know what? I'm gonna just hate the world.
Listen, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure tomorrow, man, we got the new episode with Sterling Cooper. Pretty good episode, man. I'm not gonna lie, pretty solid episode. Some quality conversations in there. 11 a.m. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna do my best to wake up, you know what I mean, and be in that chat with y'all.
Come on, man. Y'all can't leave me by myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there. You know,
Ace, you gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm back up, man.
So again, make sure y'all join the membership. You know, we got exclusive access. We got some exclusive interviews coming out with some, you know, celebrities, man. We working our way up there, man. We still want to be for the people, but we still want to have these conversations as well with these celebrities as well. So we don't want to get to that point where we just like, yo, fuck little people, like fuck the average people, like we just doing celebrity, we just interviewing celebrities or whatever the case is. But we want to give y'all diversity as well, man. So appreciate y'all for tuning in, man.
Man, I appreciate a live like this though, man. I enjoyed it. I didn't, you know what I mean? Just the conversation, listening, hearing, speaking. I fucked with it the whole way, man.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that was on the panel today. This might have been.
Did y'all realize all of the women was looking naturally beauty, like natural beauty? Like I ain't saying that, but you know, we got some natural beauty in there. You know what I'm saying?
And they said it didn't exist. So you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Eyelashes and claws. We ain't have to see it. You know, wonder if they can wipe their ass with tissue or not. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the ladies being natural.
Yeah, you know, I need that job, man. That Eminem saying it does exist. I need that.
What's that? What's that? You said Eminem?
Yeah, the Eminem commercials.
Oh, yeah. Right. I remember that shit. That's a vintage, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, we kind of old up here too.
Yeah, we showing our age, man. So appreciate you. Any last words before I end it? Because I know y'all like to talk, right? When I'm ending it.
I think it's good, bro.
Nah, I know what you about to do, nigga.
I see y'all tomorrow, man. Make sure y'all like, share, repost. Do that for